Good morning. Welcome to today's live show. We are getting ripped around and volatility is here. Volatility is here. You can see it based on how we keep swinging up, swinging back down. We have XLU on the screen right now. That is swinging back down. That was not able to cross back up on the 30-minute. It wasn't even able to cross up on the 15-minute. So this is overall what we kind of mentioned last night. Why I didn't get out of my positions was because, yes, this bar, remember, this is like one of the first things I said about the SPY. And we're going to say this again in a moment, actually. I might wait a little bit for some people to trickle in. Make sure to say good morning, have your coffee ready. And actually, I might share something with you guys today. I might share a little something with you guys. I think it would be fun. We don't necessarily have to play the song. I know people don't, not a lot of people might not like my type of music. You know, we don't want to get DMC it, whatever it is. Don't want to get flagged for that or whatever. But one song that I really liked was a song called King for a Day by Pierce the Veil. And if you look at the music video, it's about a big banker guy wearing a nice suit who's treating his employees like crap. And in the beginning here, we could maybe watch the opening part. And then if you want to go watch or listen to the song, you can go listen to it because the song's perfect. It's kind of about starting a revolution, getting back at the banks and saying we're sick of taking these pay cuts and saying we're sick of living like, you know, rats or whatever. We need to start living like kings. And I thought that was very, very cool. So that's the song I listen to in the mornings these days with all this AMC and GME stuff going on. But thank you guys for showing up this morning. Really appreciate it. Remember, if you're not watching this video live, to tune into the last part of the video. I know we couldn't give a breakdown yesterday, but we did stream for 4.5 hours. 4.5 hours. Okay, so 4.5 hours was it was a long one. It was a long one. I'm going to say I was very, very tired, and then I had to go take care of my baby girl. But yeah, don't worry about it. Double Dark, we will be looking at GME and AMC plenty today. You see it's starting to fall down. We talked about this in last night's video, so this should not be, you know, anything that surprises us at this point, because what were we overall saying? Well, it's a good thing that 30-minute did not cross over. That means you have an opportunity for today to probably have been a gap up. You probably had that opportunity. I mean, we still have 35 minutes, but I highly doubt anything happens in that 35 minutes to make this gap up. But you had that opportunity because you didn't really cross over. But we mentioned in the video multiple times, hey, this can come down like this and curl right back up. That's more the next moment that I'm paying attention to, especially considering AMC and where it's at. So AMC and where it's at compared to GME, look at this. This was still positive, so it looked a little better for GME on the 30-minute. AMC was crossed down. So none of this should surprise us. We mentioned this in last night's video, right? We're being risk managed, and then I'm letting some run, but I am being risk managed with one position. So actually, I got out of this position right around this level here, based on my 15-minute chart. But what do we think could happen here? Well, now the direction has been chosen for down, but you're still in positive context. So that's very important. If we briefly go negative, turn right back up, right? Briefly go negative, turn right back up, then this would be the next time the momentum's telling you, hey, it can head higher. To its max and increase salaries. They're never going to increase your salaries. I think inflation on salaries is most likely now. I don't think they're ever going to increase your salaries to keep up with inflation. Because just like wages in general haven't kept up with that. Now, salaries of a certain level of person will go up, right? A certain level of CEOs and higher ups in companies will go up, but yours will not go up to keep up with inflation. Especially if we experience hyperinflation, we are so screwed. We are so screwed. Not from a standpoint of not from a standpoint actually of even the people more so, but the really big problem to pay attention to is the banks and what is it? Oh, our debt. If we go through hyperinflation, that means that every single thing that the government does, they're not going to be spending, you know, $100 billion, 100 whatever dollars on all these things pushing through. They're going to be spending closer towards like $1 trillion for every little package that they try to push through. Any news today? Not necessarily. You're getting some weird stuff on this. They're really trying to talk badly about some stuff as far as the meme stock goes. Now, I know NVIDIA is holding up better. This is the manipulated stock. This is the one holding up a little bit better. Nothing really on this. Accelerated, it's always going to be good news for NVIDIA. It's always going to be bad news for the stocks that they are trying to short sell on. And that's overall what I think is going on here. Now, a few of these, something to note about yesterday was really funny about the SPY. GameStop had like 100, I think it was like, was it 100 million? So GameStop's volume was over 3 times as big as the whole S&P yesterday's trading. Its volume was over 3 times bigger than the S&P's volume yesterday. And that is interesting. Good morning. Just missed my play on Chewy, like 10 seconds. Damn. But the dollar, we were warning about this, the dollar last night, and we put this out during the day yesterday. I know that video was a little bit like, hey, just be cautious, but it is a good thing to pay attention. Look at this. The 4-hour was able to cross. Now we got to see if that thing can go positive. We can see this ripped away. Now, one thing I am paying attention to as we do a little bit of a breakdown this morning, what do we notice? Remember last night, okay, I wanted to mention this right off. Remember last night's video. What was one of the first things I said about the SPY and my position? Well, I'm managing my risk in my position with volatility because if the SPY goes up, that is not good for my volatility position. So what do I need to do? Well, I need to see if this is going to go back to positive on the MACD. So if that crossed, I would be very worried. And this bar right here really freaked me out. But I said, let me stick to my strategy. Let me stick to my strategy because I don't want these little shits to trick me. So I did not sell my position. I did not sell my position on volatility because this did not cross up. It did not confirm a contrarian indication that we could go into positive territory here. So I didn't sell it, and now we gap down. So this is overall something that I pay attention to, right? This is why it's very important to pay attention to exactly how you want to do things. And we teach this on the course, and this told you not to sell yet. If you got one bar this morning like this, then it might tell you, hey, you might want to think about getting out of that position. So that's overall how I do things, and I didn't. I said, nope, they're not going to trick me here. If it is a trick, if I'm wrong, that's fine. I'm willing to lose a little bit and then just be out. But this never curled up. So isn't that cool? Now, part of me just thinks this is a very wonky trap, very strong trap here. And so, like, I kind of got lucky with it, but I am just following my risk management plan. And that paid off for me this time because now, if you go over and look at the SPY dropping down, we can go look at volatility. Look at that. Look at this move on volatility. And the thing about volatility, why I also did not get out of my volatility play was look at the 30 minutes. So I took my trade based on the 2-hour. Looking at the 30 minute here, did it ever cross over on this MACD? No, it didn't. Now, I was very afraid that this was just going to be down here by the beginning of the day, but my risk management told me, hey, don't sell this position yet. Don't sell this position yet. And the SPY told me the same thing. So I said, all right, I'm keeping it. Boom. Now my my volatility play is printing. So very, very cool there. As we go through, let's just go through a few stocks here. The Q's gapping down. Now, this is a big deal, guys. This is a big, big deal because you're gapping below the daily expected moves on both the SPY and the Q's. You're gapping below these. So when that happens, you can bounce up. You can use it as resistance, as resistance, and then see that fall back down. Now, the one thing here is, remember, we're doing this very early on in the day. If this sticks, and this is happening early on in the day, we have a 68% chance to land back in this zone. Okay, guys, I want you to pay attention to that. Now, 32% chance you land outside of it, right outside of it to the upside as well, but 68% chance we land right in here. Okay, so if we see any kind of reversal down here, be cautious. That could be some kind of bounce to get back in. And maybe we're going to see this setup. I'm going to give this idea. The XLU, remember, we're paying very close attention to utilities, and this is what we were mentioning in the Patreon video a little bit, utilities turning down in negative territory. This is what kind of convinced me, like, hey, just be a little careful. And now that video makes my, after, like, literally at the end of the day, I was like, crap, man, it really looked like we needed to be careful here. It looked like we were going to sell off, and then they trapped. But XLU just still doesn't look that good. And then XLU is going into negative territory, and it's proven the next day. So I really was keeping the thinking straight there. Very happy about that. But what could we see here? Let's see if we make a point of divergence for XLU. I think this would be a great opportunity to say, okay, this is maybe where they create the bigger bounce. And the reason I'm still thinking there might be a bigger bounce is because this 2 hour on the SPY is still very close to that center line. So I think we do have the opportunity. Maybe we go all the way down to that weekly expected move and we create some divergence or something like that, because it looks like this 2 hour still is going to go positive at some point, unless the GME and AMC thing really unravels and they have to get out of positions in the overall market. I told you guys, in order to cover those hedge funds, in order to cover those positions they have on AMC and GME, they're going to have to liquidate their assets. Their assets are what is their collateral for their borrowing and all that. So what are their assets? It's stocks. And that's very scary at this point. That's why I also think that the NVIDIA manipulation is all just to get more money in their pockets to short even harder. But you don't know that for sure. So what am I paying attention to for the SPY? If I see some kind of divergence down here at that weekly expected move, that's what I'm going to pay attention to today. If we see that get really dramatic, well, that might be some bad news, my friends. We'll see if XLU can turn around. That'll be a good hint. Apple, this one holding up better, right? Apple holding up better. Let's see, 15-minute right by the center line. If that thing curls up, we can see a positive move. The thing about Apple is the 2 hour turns up here. You can really start to see positivity, and maybe we get that positive move, go up to that weekly expected move, and then that's given away. We've talked about this trade setup for a while. If these setups do form, we are going to put out another Patreon video. You called it, bro. Yeah, so it was very difficult. This one was very difficult for me to call and get straight, and I still wanted to warn you guys, like, it can flip up. I didn't know exactly how they were trapping us this time. Usually it's a little bit more obvious, right? You see a divergence, everyone's bearish, and then you're like, yeah, this is going to bounce, and then you see the trap. But this time it was like they really push it up. Volatility doesn't fully cross over on my 30-minute, and the SPY doesn't fully cross up on my 15, which my risk management, which is on the course, by the way, down in the description, it told me not to get out of the play yet. So even with that big green 15-minute bar on the SPY, I was like, my strategies tell me not to get in or not to get out. So I didn't. I was like, I'm going to trust my strategy for a second, see what happens. Boom. I'm glad I did. So everything's printing for me right now. Even my, God dang it, I wish AMD. So I did mention that I was going to trade AMD, by the way. So what I do a lot of the time, if I see a divergence like this one and I want to front run in any way, if this 30-minute crosses down, then I take a play. So at the very end of yesterday, I did take a very, very small position on AMD, and then I was going to use it as an opportunity if that bounced up to scale back in. So literally opening up today, every single trade I'm making is printing except for the AMC play. Every single one is printing. So pretty cool. But if the SPY goes down towards its weekly expected move, I'm probably going to sell my AMD play. That's how I do things. Got to be quick with it. That's going to, like this right here, this 2.28% move down is probably going to be something like 100% on my position immediately because it happens so fast. I literally bought it pretty much as far as the market goes. I bought it 30 minutes ago. That's crazy. I bought it 30 minutes ago at a price point of 171.50. Now it is down 4 points. So that's probably enough for a double right there. So we might be out of this play. And then what's going to happen? Well, I think we still have the opportunity for the 30-minute to cross back up. So I'll be paying attention. Maybe I just manage this one, right? I can manage this one. I'll see how deep down the 15-minute is. But I think it looks like we are going to see a very manipulated week. But Apple, yeah, you want to see if this 15-minute can curl up, then there's a good shot the 2 hour can go positive, right? Can curl up in positive territory, make some kind of point of divergence. We'll talk about these plays on Patreon. Tesla was the wonky one. Tesla was the one I was like, well, it's pretty much 2 hour cross up, good things, and it's starting to creep down into negative territory. This is the complicated one. And this is why I said Tesla's the complicated one. It didn't curl up on the 2 hour, so there's no reason for me to think this has to go positive. Let's go look at it the 30-minute. The 30-minute didn't even curl up, so I shouldn't even be taking a trade on this. I didn't because I'm not seeing that signal. At least AMD gave me a little red bar, right? This didn't give me a green bar here, so I am in no way thinking about taking an upward position here. And then if you go into the 15-minute, now that cross, that could have convinced you, but this is why I don't do 15-minute charts. This is blatantly why. Now, what could happen is it could dip down and then see that move in a moment. So that's where risk management comes in. But 30-minute charts are better. Like this is just better, right? I've done enough trading. I've done enough losing with 15-minute charts that I know, hey, I mean, the 30-minute looks better to me. All right, Amazon. Now, this one was a very tricky trap, right? Because this is saying momentum is dying. Here's the pop. Look at that. It's going to go up. It almost, does it go positive too? No, it doesn't go positive. So that's what you're waiting for. You're waiting for that to go positive too. But, you know, a lot of the time I like to front run these too on just the crossing of the MACD right here. So if you're in that position, well, it didn't go positive, so now you want to do your risk management, make sure that 15 minutes not crossing and going negative. So if you are in Amazon, and if I was in Amazon and I was seeing this curl down into negative territory, I'd just be out for a brief moment, and then if that curls right back up, be right back in, right? Something like this. Don't let them trick you out. You might just be right. You might be wrong now, but your overall thesis might be right, and this might be some kind of trick. But just in case it's not, that's why you say, I'm going to risk manage myself out of this. And if something dramatic would happen, then I'm okay. But if this is going to pull down, sorry, I'm hiccuping a bunch, and then curl back up, crossing on this MACD, then I can be right back in the play. It's just managing the risk in this one. Car lots are full. No one can buy cars, huh? Now, NVIDIA is the outlier here, but we were talking about how this is the real pump and dump scheme. This is the real pump and dump. So the fact that, you know, here's how you have to think about it. Retail is buying a bunch of calls and buying a bunch of stock of AMC and GME, and the stock goes down. Retail is buying right now a bunch of shorts and selling their positions maybe, or I wouldn't even say selling their position. I think people are just trying to short NVIDIA and the stock goes up. So it's just the opposite, and this is the real pump and dump scheme, because this is going to make a few rich people really rich, and it's going to make retail lose money at the end of the day. Because I think that, you know, even people I know that are in this are like, now I'm still holding. And I'm like, dude, wasn't your target 1,000? Yeah, but it's at 1,100 now. But your target was 1,000. Yeah, but it's at 1,100 now. Do you see that mentality is so bad? Buy low, sell high. The selling high part is hard because you feel good. Morning all, what's up, Tom? Any update on GME? We're going to get to that in just a moment. But AMD, I did take one position right here. And then I was looking for that bounce up for a scale in. But I'm glad I took that position because now it's down like 4 points to open the day, which is very good. I mean, I think I saw it correctly. I wanted to front run the 2 hour divergence. Okay, so the 30-minute crossing, I just wanted to front run that just in case, and then I can scale in if it creates a divergence. And you'll notice now, what are we getting? A huge drop here for AMD. If that 2 hour can cross, I can hold it, but don't think I'm not going to be managing this position. I'm going to be managing this position very closely here. I can manage it on a 15 or a 30-minute if I'd like, but we'll see what happens as far as the open goes. This play, I just don't think it'll be... I don't know, because the reason I don't know if this is going to fully break down, like NVIDIA break down, everything starts to break down, is because AMC and GME do not have very much strength. Here you go on Meta, though. Let's get through these. Meta on the 2 hour, something very unique to point out here. And I believe I said this in the Patreon video, but not on YouTube. So we were looking for maybe a triple divergence, but we were open to a head and shoulders. But that 30-minute looked like it was going to curl up. It didn't. Okay, very important to note. You never got confirmation of upside on your MACD. That is a red and a pink bar. That is not saying upside. So the 2 hour, now we're looking for another point of divergence. The funny part here is you got a divergence here and you have a divergence here. So if you just X this out, you have a divergence across the way here, one right here and one all the way down here. So that would tell me if this crosses and goes negative, that's probably going to be a bad thing for Meta. Okay, now we have to see how it reacts around 453.08. As of right now, we would just say that is a bad thing. We don't know how low it could go. We're going to pay attention to the signals in this move, and we'll see. Now let's get over to AMC and GME. Firstly, gold dropping off as well. Not able to cross on the MACD. This did not confirm upside on a 2 hour. Did not confirm upside on a 2-hour. The 30-minute was very, very close to crossing over on the 30-minute. So this was pretty much a 50-50 flip because you have a 30-minute that looks like it might roll over. You have a 2-hour that looks like it might roll up. So it's very sketchy there for gold. That's why we didn't mention it in the Patreon video. We've mentioned gold before, the last time you should sell it, and we pretty much called that perfectly. So very good. AMC, you just want to see, can this 30-minute turn back around? I'd say even can the 15-minute turn back around? Can the 15-minute turn back into positive? As of right now, you're pointing down and going negative. That is not a good sign. I'm just being honest with you. I am still holding this. I'm only trading back and forth one position. The other positions and the stocks, like the actual share, I'm holding them. But if this turns back around, I'll get back into that position. But as of right now, you have to say it's going negative. So you need that to curl back up and go positive to confirm that positive trend. GameStop, a little bit better on the 15-minute though. Look at this. It's still up here. That is a good sign. But if that starts to go negative, that's a bad sign. Now, we talked about how GameStop and AMC on the daily scale are good. Do I look at anything less than 15 minutes? Sometimes, Cliff. Sometimes, if I think there's some wonky behavior, or if I'm really, really focused and trying to scale into a move, and I notice that I have like a triple divergence on a 30-minute forming, a lot of the time on a triple divergence with a 30-minute, you can look at a 5-minute chart and you'll see a little 5-minute divergence and you can get a perfect position. One of those trades I took was on, actually TLT. One of those trades I took was on TLT about 2 years ago. And I made 300% in a day because I played that 5-minute divergence that had a 30-minute triple divergence behind it that had a 2-hour divergence behind it. And I saw like on TLT, a bigger percentage drop for TLT would be like 3%. I saw a 3% bounce in, like I bought it at the end of the day and the next morning it gapped up by like 2.5 or 3%. And so I made like 300% on my position in I guess it would be technically like 20 minutes, according, like, I know I bought it the previous day, but I bought it at the end of the previous day. I woke up in the morning, it was worth 3 times what it was. I was like, ooh, good payday. I'm not trading the rest of the month. But as far as GME goes, this is a contrarian bearish signal right now. Now you are very far away from the center line, so it's going to take a little more work to break down. This is still positive. This is a positive trend, even with the downward price action. This is a positive trend until it goes negative. It has to cross this center line. I hope that was a helpful, Cliff. That's something we might put into the course as well. Remember, I'm adding to the course, and when you buy it, any added content, you get it, right? It's not anything charged extra there. How to scale into a tight position would be very, very cool to do. You can do it at select times, usually around triple divergence or something like that. So if this can curl back up in positive territory, what would we say if this wasn't GME? If this was any other stock, we would say if this curls up positive territory, the positive trend will continue and we can go test this high or go make a new one. Okay, this is not deep. If this goes deeper, we can start to talk about a lower high. But right now, the way it looks, yeah, it's dropping off, but that's still going to just get you closer to the center line and maybe you turn right back up. So this could briefly go negative. Just pay attention anytime that turns back up into positive territory. That is when the momentum is telling you, hey, there is a probable upside move, right? That's how we look at the MACD indicator. Now, the 30-minute is a problem because this might be a little bit more of a drawdown, but we could see this get back towards the center line, maybe fill this gap, right? We could see this cross down like this, kind of like we did right here. Right, we cross down like this, back into negative territory for a moment. We see some bad price action, and then that curls back up right around this bar right here, and then boom, it's off to the races. So you could see that happen again, and that's what you really want to pay attention to. The momentum here, not looking the best. This 30 minutes probably going to cross right away in the morning. They have a course about the 1 minute, so I assume yes. I don't trust 1 minute charts for a second. So look at difference set time to confirm that stock is going up or down. So the way that I do it is I want to take a trade on a 2-hour. So if I see a setup forming on a 2-hour, can I make that setup even better by finding a similar signal on a 30-minute? Because 30-minute divergences like to turn over 2 hours. So if I see both of those at the same time, the likelihood that I am right is very, very high. And then if I see a triple divergence on a 30-minute, I can then go into a 5-minute to get like a perfect position. And that's overall what I like to do. But that takes a lot of focus. I've been doing it for a very long time. I've been doing my strategies for this exact type of strategy, the exact one I give you on the course down in the description. I've been doing that for, well, since the top of 2022, pretty much. So, or it was a little after that. It was slightly after that, but I've been doing it for a couple of years now. So I'm very, very good at it. And therefore, you have to say, you need to probably get very good at it first. There's something called the golden setup in the course. If you just waited all year round for the golden setup, you'd see like maybe like 3 to 4 a year. And those print. I'll show you one of them if you want to see one real quick. We talk about it in the course. This is the golden setup that we do talk about in the course. And I want you to see this. And the funny thing is, you had multiple golden setups here for Apple down at this low. So you had multiple divergences here, you had multiple divergences here, and you had multiple divergences here. And this is a triple divergence on the daily. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. And this is all between August 2023 and October 2023. So just like almost a 3-month span, you got 1, 2, and then 3. Now these were smaller, and then this one had a triple divergence and able to go positive, so you need to hold that. But this printed for me, this printed for me, this really printed for me, and I got out once we got to about the top Bollinger right around here. And then that's when I was like, okay, this thing is very squeezy. I don't want to mess with it. So yeah, this is the golden setup that we go over in the course, and there's a lot more to it than just this triple divergence on the daily MACD. There's a lot more to it in the shorter time frames, because if you get in on the daily MACD, you're in right here. My course will teach you how to get in right here, 170.50 versus 177.50. My course will tell you how to get in maybe right here at 173.66 instead of well, I guess this time it was the same, so 173.66. And then right here, you can get in right here instead of way over here, so a little bit higher. So it's just an opportunity there. That's the golden setup. If you just waited for those, you would make more money than everyone out there trading every single day. You feeling any trades today? I'm feeling good about every single trade I made today. So I have a little one on AMD I took on the 30-minute. This one is printing for me. I have a volatility play that is printing for me. My risk management told me not to get out of this position because I took it on a 2-hour, not to get out of this position. And then the only one that's not printing for me, well, TLT, how's that doing? I'm just holding TLT. No, that dropped dramatically. Yeah, so TLT I have at 82.50 still. I just hold that forever. The only one that's not printing for me is AMC. But this one, I think AMC and GME are the reason that we're going to see maybe a crash. So we'll see if this actually happens. If not, I said I was willing to lose all this money, and all my other trades are going to make me more than what I put into AMC. So I have about $3,000 into AMC, and my trades today will easily cover that. SQQQ printing. Yeah, we talked about that live on Monday. People mentioning SQQQ. I'm like, it's a great opportunity to scale in. You don't do your analysis. Do not do your technical analysis on SQQQ. You want to do it. You want to do it on the VIX, SQQQ. You want to do it on the Qs themselves. So the Qs, if you were short on the Qs up at these levels and you see this drop, did it tell you to get out? Well, this here would say don't get out according to my strategies. Okay, this would not have you out on this big upward bar. And that's very hard to do. It was very hard for me to do yesterday, but I just said, I just went like this. Well, you guys can't see me. Damn it, you guys can't see me. My desk came, it was warped, and I couldn't even get it to pull together. So I have to send it back and get a new one, and I'm pissed off because I've waited for about 9 days now for that desk, and it keeps getting stalled out. It's really frustrating because I'm working from my wife's desk, and I like the desk. I like it, but I like my desk better. Hers is bulky. But yeah, at the end of the day yesterday, I literally put my hands up in the air, like hands up, don't shoot. I put my hands up in the air, and I was like, just don't do it. Your risk management is telling you not to do it. Don't do it. And I didn't do it. I told you guys on the YouTube video, I was like, I didn't do it. And it ended up being a trap. So very, very cool to see that happen. AMD play sounds like sex. It was very, very good. It was very good. And I just scaled in because of the 30-minute giving me a slight red bar, and the 2-hour divergence was above it. So that was my first, like, I just kind of, not going to lie, that's not really what my strategy is about there. But I'm able to get in a little bit earlier, so I took a chance with it. I was willing to scale into it because I was very confident that AMD was going to fall. I'm very confident that NVIDIA will fall over the next 1 to 5 years by 60%. Very confident at this point that will happen. The last thing here, still time for an AMD play. You want to look for your opportunity now. Your opportunity is going to be a bounce. That's why I'm probably going to sell this right away, because this is a 15-minute, not really close to the center line, no 15-minute divergence even. 30-minute just crossed, no divergence up here, even on the RSI. So this was a play that I took, just used the 30-minute to get in on a very small position, because this is just a first scale-in position, guys. This isn't like the best print for me right now. The better print would be if the 2-hour confirms and this starts to go negative. Yeah, that's why I front ran it a little bit. But the 30-minute, I think this still has potential to build back up now, create a divergence outside that range, and then that's the moment. I think they're going to trap you again. And the reason I think they're going to trap again is because why? Well, technically, because since last Thursday, how many traps have we gotten? Actually, let's go all the way back to like right here. Since May 15th, halfway through May, right? We're at the end of May, halfway through May. By the way, Patreon, we will be updating the monthly expected moves this weekend. Now, this is a trap. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I missed this one, but 6, 7, 8, 9. You could say 10, 11, because you broke above the high to take out stops. 12, 13. What is stopping them again from doing another trap? That's really, really what happened here. There's so many traps in here. That's why we were like, it's Trap Tuesday. And we were right. We called that. Trap here. And at the end of the day, they posted another trap. Boom, that thing falls down. So I might be getting out of my positions early on today to some downside if I see anything that can hurt me. So I think if right now I'm seeing these divergences on the 15-minute on the RSI, on volatility here, and if we go make another divergence and we see that cross that center line, I will be out of my volatility position and waiting for the pull back on volatility. This is just going to print good money, so there's no reason for me to do it. And all I did was bought UVXY, and UVXY is now up 6.4%. And I bought a decent sized position in this. I scaled into this 4 times. Scaled into this like 4 times. So that's going to print very well for me, and I don't need to make more than 6%. I might leave a couple, like I might leave some, like I might still hold some, but I might sell half of UVXY. I think that's probably the smartest move. AMD, I think, is going to be manipulated. So I think you will have an opportunity here. Be patient. Don't overdo it. And if it just starts to happen, still know you missed out on a good price. So this still, if this dropped all the way like this, you don't necessarily want to start getting in here, because then you're going to be convinced it has to go all the way down to this low. I'm saying we could get some kind of bounce up like this, and then that might be the opportunity, right? Something like this would be more the opportunity for AMD at this point. 3 minutes till the open. Oh, I heard Japan is in some struggle right now. DraftKings, we haven't looked at DraftKings in a little while. Oof, that is not pretty. Oof, that is not pretty. Okay, so this is kind of a good lesson here of what you want to look for when you miss out on the position, right? We missed out, let's say we missed out on this position. We're like, damn, should I get into DraftKings right here? Should I get a short? Should I get a short? Well, not necessarily. You're going to see some kind of bounce most likely. This is more a better time to take a position than this right here. And it's the same price. So you could even look at a 15-minute, right? This curled up to the center line. It crosses over. It's very, very close to the center line. Maybe you take a chance on it. Boom, right here is your entry at that point. And taking a short over here is way worse than taking a short right here. And then you see that gap down. So what do? We build up to the center line. We get a small divergence right here on the 15-minute on the RSI. And what do? Well, we swing trade it down. So we might add swing trading to the course as well. AMD long was very good yesterday. I just don't. So here's the reason I didn't go long on NVIDIA or AMD. Here's the reason I didn't. And I do take longs. Don't get it twisted. Like NVIDIA, I did go long on. I went long on NVIDIA right here and right here. I believe this was the better trade for me, but right here is where I went long on NVIDIA. We break through a zone, we tap in it, and then we go higher. This is where I went long on NVIDIA. That printed very quickly. I was out. I was out like up in these highs because this is the point of liquidity here. I didn't want them to sell it off in any way. So I'm out. Now I know what it's going to squeeze. I've been saying it's going to squeeze forever. My risk management told me that this wasn't the time to sell, right? Or this wasn't the time to get out of, this told me to get out of short positions right here. So I see this big move happen. I told you it was going to 1,000. Why would I try to short it if it's not at 1,000 yet? Why would I try to short it at 1,000 really? This is manipulated as hell. That's why I don't mess with it. And therefore, I'm not going to trade something that is like it unless I see a signal in the other direction because they are going to flip the script very, very soon. Let me just get my trades up real quick. Here we go. What is it? My volatility and my AMD play. All right, we have those up and going. Just waiting for the open because I got to sell this thing pretty quick. All right, review. Don't care what it does after this. Sell. Done. All right. And I am managing my trades just by clicking a button. So I am in no way trying to do a limit or anything like that. A stop order. Whoa, AMC is printing. What the hell? Why is AMC printing? Wait, my AMC call is going positive. Why is that happening? Hold on. The hell? Wow, the call premium on AMC just went kind of bonkers. The call premium on AMC just went bonkers as it breaks down. That's interesting. So what you want to see for AMC and GME is if they can turn up these 15 minutes. That would be a confirmation of more upside. What's going on with this? All right, so apparently there are a bunch of calls going out on AMC, and that is driving the premium up dramatically. All right, there you go. Okay, so my AMD one, because of that bounce, and I didn't have a stop in because I was planning on, I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought it was going to scale, so I didn't really have a stop in or a limit to sell that position. It actually boomed. It actually went higher, so that meant I had to do something a little different there. So because I just made money on that, pretty good money very, very quickly, why not put more money into AMC, you know? Why not? Once this thing curls up, I'm going to put more money into AMC. Alrighty, how are you guys doing over in the chat? Now I don't need to manage that. The only one I have to keep my eye on is volatility, if that is going to cross down. I think you have a chance that this goes and makes a 15-minute divergence first, right? It goes just a tiny bit higher, and then we see this happen. So once that happens, that's when I'll be out. That's what I'm watching on my other screen. And notice I'm not even looking at UVXY. I just know if this happens, I need to get out of volatility. I don't even have to look at UVXY, up 6.5%. Let's go look at the SPY. So the key thing with the SPY here is going to be a 30-minute divergence at the low. This could be another trap. Now you want to make sure it's a trap, guys. Remember, this is a very dramatic sell-off. Very, very dramatic sell-off. So this would tell me, hey, I want to just be cautious. This could just keep going. What is stopping this from keeping selling off? Not a lot. But if it creates a signal that convinces me there could be a bounce, then I will be out of my volatility position, and all I have to do is really pay attention to volatility on my other screen. All right, see, AMD would have printed a little bit more for me. But as we approach that weekly expected move, I'm taking profit early in an environment like this. I didn't have a month out position on AMD. I only had a 2-week out position, so I know I need to take profit a little bit quicker. All things that we talk about in the course, guys. All things that we talk about in the course. You see me doing it right in front of you. I was able to make money off of AMD right away. That's how confident I am with my trading. I was able to make money off it right away. Now I think AMD is going to cross back up and curl up on this 15-minute. Or maybe even on the 30-minute. I would really like to see a 30-minute divergence. So this could continue, and I don't care. I made enough money on it. I made about 90% at the open. And boom, see something like this happen would be very, very cool to see. So this is what I think will happen. Oh, almost took a screenshot. My bad. I don't have my other keyboard either. I just think that the 15-minute has a chance to curl up at any time. It's right by the center line, getting oversold. I think this has a chance to curl up, create a 15-minute divergence, and I'll be right back in this play to the downside. If that forms, that is, if that forms. So we want to see, what you want to pay attention to are the Qs, or is the SPY going towards that weekly expected move? Is it curling up on the 15-minute? That would tell you that downside is not the option anymore. That's good. I'm just over here buying AMC left and right. I'm setting it up so like I have the orders set up so I can just buy more AMC stock. Look at that. Would have printed for me pretty good. But I'm managing my own risk here and saying this isn't the play. If we're going to keep seeing a sell-off, I have volatility. That hasn't convinced me to get out yet. This is all I'm looking at on my other screen, seeing if this can go like this. All that I need to do is see something like this, and I'm out. And you already see it on the RSI. That's why I'm like very, very close here. I'll probably put a stop, actually. I'll probably put a limit. Yeah, let's put a limit here. If it goes up that much, it should probably be worth. That way I don't even have to really try. I'm going to sell half my positions there. That didn't cut rates. Well, so you're also seeing this. This was very, very bad. The daily able to curl up. You're seeing the rates go bonkers. Why are the rates going bonkers? Treasury yields extend gains. NASDAQ scales 17. So benchmark Treasury yields has 4-week highs. So this here, yields going up quickly, is going to be rough. It is going to be rough. And therefore, you would say, hey, a lot of tech stocks could sell off. So what we want to pay attention to is we have no 2-hour divergence, anything like that. If you wanted to say a 15-minute on the 10-year yield would be the hourly, you don't even have that. But once we create a little 15-minute one, you could say maybe they drop off a little bit. We can pay attention to TLT. Remember, we give you the ranges for TLT, and I think you're way outside of that at this point. Yeah, you're way outside of it at this point. So this move is real. And another thing you can look at is actually our XLU creating some kind of divergence right now. Remember, XLU makes the move a little bit earlier. So if this starts to prove itself and get a bounce, we see this divergence already forming right here. So pay attention to XLU, because this can cause some kind of bounce. If we see this turn back around, what would this 30-minute divergence do? It would turn up this 2 hour down here on the MACD. And look, it's still close to center line. I know it's pointing down. This was a crash signal. We pointed this out, but we want to pay attention to how we can get screwed. So if we think XLU is going to keep going down, hey, I'm leaving 2 of my positions open for the volatility, but I'm going to sell it if I see if I see the VIX make that 15-minute divergence, if I see XLU confirm a 30-minute divergence, and if I see the SPY forming a 30-minute divergence while XLU confirms it, that would be when I am no longer going to be in position. So pretty much if this 30-minute curls up, I'm out of half of my volatility play, and I'm going to scale back in up at these levels. Good trading. Very good trading. DJT could spike. DJT could spike, but when everyone was saying it was going to spike in the past, we were pointing out it's most likely going to drop. Okay, so right here, someone was coming in and saying DJT is going to go to $100 or something like that. They were like DJT to 100, and I said, well, my indicators are telling me triple divergence right here, very subtle triple divergence on a 2 hour, which likes to roll over the daily. That ended up playing out. I didn't take a play on this. Just in case he was right. And whenever someone says that, I'm like, just in case they're right, let me not trade the stock that they're talking about. It was able to curl down right here. Now you're curling back up. So you're seeing if that 2 hour can curl back up and go positive. At this moment, it's going positive. So this is where positivity can come in. Maybe we look at a 30-minute. Okay, that looks like it needs a pullback. So what you're looking for here, let's look at this MACD. It's pretty high up. So you could see this pull down and then curl back up. I think that's the more likely scenario. Get close to the center line. For a trader, this is just a better position. It's just a better position to be patient, right? See something like that. XLU, we just got to keep our eye on this. It's starting to cut this low, but I want to make sure this doesn't create some kind of 30-minute divergence. This will tell me that actually stocks might head higher soon. As of right now, stocks head lower. That's what it's telling me. Stocks head lower. All right, I don't need to look at AMD anymore. What do I want to look at? Let's look at the SPY and AMC. I wonder if those are still positive. Okay, those flip back to negative. For a second there, my AMC, one of my positions was worth 50% higher than when I bought it. And I was like, why? The stock is so far down. Amazon playing with my emotions. Yeah, Amazon's going to rip you around, but remember, this is overall what you were paying attention to. What do we see? Crossing of the MACD right here. It's confirming upside as of right here. As long as it can go positive, you can hold that position. Let's see if it can turn around the 2 hour. The 2 hour crossing is really what you want to pay attention to. It already did. Now you want to see that go positive. Okay, so the 30-minute, now you just want to manage that trade. If you need help managing the trade, I tell you exactly how to manage a 30-minute play like this. I tell you exactly what to do in order to not get screwed by them pulling this down one more time and pulling back up, right? Convincing you it's going down and then it turns right back up. We teach you how to manage that trade in the course. If you need to do that right now, you can get the course. It's $100. It's on sale for 2 more days. And then you can go down to the last video of the course under very important additional content. And that would be what I would pay attention to. Apple. This one here, still waiting for that 30 minutes to curl up. I said multiple times, Apple is most likely going to curl up and create some kind of 2 hour divergence. This one is not divergence, and it's not divergence on the 30-minute. People are going to tell you this is a double top. The momentum is not confirming this as a double top. Now, what I think might happen is we could see some kind of pop and drop. That could happen. So that's what I'm paying attention to. But overall, the 2 hour divergence would look clean. Wouldn't this look clean if we got a bounce here and then that just rolled over? So that's what I'm paying attention to for Apple. But XLU is not giving us that reversal signal yet. So we have to be patient with it. Got to be patient with it. 1.09%. So I'll keep an eye on that. If it goes back above, if it goes back to green, that's really what we want to pay attention to, if that can flip back around, because that would confirm some divergence down here. AMC and GME are selling off. What are people doing? Well, weirdly enough, they pump the stocks at the end of the day and then they rip it away from everyone. They're probably using profits to create downside for AMC and GME. You still just have to pull up a 15-minute. Like you just keep it simple. Don't get overreactive. Just kind of laugh about it. Be like, ha, Like if you're trading AMC, you know what you're doing. You're trying to catch them in illegal stuff. They're going to fight back. It's not going to be easy. You just want to go, ha, they think that I'm in this position. No, I was out up here. I was out right here. Let them do this little sell-off. We know plenty of people are holding the stock itself. I'm holding the stock itself. If this curls back up, I can reapply that position and take some of their money. But as of right now, you're not taking any of their money because this is able to go negative. So we need that to flip back to positive. I'd just be like, ha, they think that they're fooling me. They're not, right? They're not. I'm not. Technically, one of my positions isn't in this play, right? I got out of this position right here at 12:30. Now I can see that go in. I still have another position in case something crazy happens the next day, right? I want to see if there's any kind of gap ups. But I got out of the position I'm trading back and forth. Boom, that heads down. If that curls back up, I'm going to reapply that position. NVIDIA is going to be very manipulated. Even with this drop right here, you have the 15-minute divergence. Remember, we were talking about a 30-minute crossing. Now you're seeing the pullback. Now, look at this. We said NVIDIA was the overall trap. NVIDIA was the overall pump and dump scheme. It is still manipulated at this moment. Do not think because it's dropping by 2.43% that it's going to crash 60% overnight. It's not going to happen. They are going to keep manipulating it and keep trying to get you to lose money, and therefore you need to be trading like water. My VIX call option, it doesn't expire till June, and I'm up 30%. Well, then just pay attention to a signal that you would say volatility is going to drop. What signal would tell you volatility is going to drop? Well, first of all, 30-minute crossing over, that's a good sign. But a 15-minute divergence, you have it on the RSI right now, if that can freaking load. There it goes. You have it on the RSI. It's not turned down. I like it to really reject and go negative. But up in these areas, we can see a little push higher. You want to just find signals that can tell you, oh, I should not be in the VIX calls anymore. That's how I do it. You want to say, hey, I should not be in those anymore. So what would that be? If the SPY turns up on the 15-minute, you probably don't want to be in that position. And then if this curls back up and curls down, and we see on the MACD, it curls up and curls back down, you can get right back into that VIX position. So just don't try to freak out about it or anything. Or if you are freaking out, just be like, okay, let me use that energy, go click around to a few things. What should I pay attention to? Slow down and be like, I have energy right now. I can look at a bunch of charts. Let me see what's up. Okay, I need to look at SPY. I need to look at weakness and volatility, and I need to look at strength in the SPY. Maybe I need to also look at XLU. Maybe I need to look at the Dow Jones, right? Maybe I need to look at XLU. This here, if this bounces up on the 30-minute, if I see this cross, there's no reason to take downside. AMD selling off. Yep. So AMD printed for me. I took a small position to front run that 2-hour divergence. So the only thing with AMD that I should pay attention to is if that 2-hour divergence is confirming. So if that confirms, that's bad. I don't think it will. There's a lot of time left in this bar, and we've moved down dramatically. I think this wicks out. Not saying that it can't go down further. I'm just saying based on my experience with the market, I highly doubt this goes down in one swoop. But it can go all the way down to 159 level before it bounces. But I really think they don't want this to cross, so I highly doubt we go all the way down to here. If we do, we're going to create a divergence maybe or something like that. Right? 30-minute, just pay attention. No, I don't know if we get all the way down to 159. But hey, if I would have held this, holy crap, it would have printed even more. I would have made double what I made today. Damn it. But I'm being a good trader. I can go, damn it, but then you see my automatic reaction after I go, damn it, is I'm being a good trader. I made money. Why would I be upset? I'm going to keep XLU up on my other screen on a 30-minute just to pay attention to that signal. Because that is a steep divergence on XLU, guys. Like if you want to talk about some reason that we would head higher from here, and this is another trap, if this would confirm, I know it's not bouncing yet, but if that would confirm around this area, it's a steep divergence on the RSI, it's a steep divergence on the MACD, and we talk about the significance of divergence in the course. So this is something to pay attention to. Apple going higher, looking like it wants to cross on that MACD. Let's see if that is going to confirm an upside move. There it is, confirmation of an upside move for Apple. Remember, I think that this is going to be ripped away quickly. That's why I'm not taking any call side here. There's just not a lot of room to the upside. That 2 hour can cross up for a full retest. We talked about that way back here, how we could go get a full retest. That is starting to play out. Notice that we said that, on May 10th-ish. Right, I think we set it right around these highs here, dip down, curl back up. What do we do? Go to this zone. If we remain in this zone, curl back up, then we're going to go get a retest. Do you see how creating those future scenarios, thinking 4 steps ahead in this case, is going to allow us to know what to do, to know how to react? At this moment, you would say, well, I would overall say that the better position is right down here. When you're seeing that confirmation down here, you have slight RSI divergence, right? But I'm not playing upside. I think there's a big drop coming in the next couple of weeks. So why would I try to play around with upside? Apple, I'm expecting it to get up towards 193 again. Tesla 30-minute. If the 30-minute curls up for Tesla, that's going to be a good sign that you want to go positive. XLU not turning up yet. See how we just got to keep clicking around. We got to keep looking around. This is still crossed. The dollar might fade soon. TLT, no good signals here. That is just ugly. And then the SPY, you want to see what's happening there. 30-minute divergence is what I would like to see. XLU, Q's holding up very well. This could be a retest early on in the morning, though. You want to see if this 5-minute can go... Oh, that's divergence on a 5-minute, guys. So if this confirms and goes up, the Q's are going to start heading higher. If this confirms and goes positive on the 5-minute here, Qs could see a significant bounce here. You're going back within those daily expected moves. SPY, not so much, but you do have the divergence on the RSI, so it could head up. It probably just won't head as high as the Qs if this can go positive. So there you go. Now you have maybe the next trap right there. We just called it out live. And all we have to do is make sure this is confirming, right? We're saying the trap is here. If that confirms, we could say, okay, that definitely was a trap and it's going to head up to these levels, maybe at least these levels here. But if that confirms just down here, I would say, yeah, this is a good time. This is a trap. And then if this does this, right, and we go, but, then that was another trap. So you're getting a lot of traps. And the reason you're getting a lot of traps is because they're probably trying to build up some money to cover their shit in AMC and GME. So you're seeing a lot of traps because they want to take all of your money. All of your money. You know the best thing you could do right now? Honestly, if every single retail trader just did not trade at all for the next few days and let AMC and GME do its thing, maybe bought a little bit of AMC and GME, it would pop like crazy. Let's take a look at AMC. 30-minute wasn't able to go negative. 15-minute right at the center line, not going positive though. Oh, GameStop still looks decent. Like it's not really breaking down too far. Damn it. GameStop, you notice this 30-minute divergence. First of all, that would be huge. Let's see if that divergence holds. Look at this 30-minute divergence. If this 30-minute confirms, this might be the moment if that confirms on the 5-minute. Damn it, that's a 5-minute. I thought it was a 30-minute. My bad. That's why I don't do 5-minute. I get confused. Okay, so the 15-minute is what I'm talking about actually for GME. I'm sorry about that little mistake there. That was a 5-minute divergence. So still you can pay attention to that. 5-minute stuff's very good. Where are the boys? Hold on, I gotta go. The electrician's coming today. No. I gotta go find my dog. The electrician's coming real quick, but GME 15-minute. It's still in positive territory, so if that curls up at any time, positive move incoming. Let me go find my other dog because the electrician's coming. I'll be right back. My dogs like to play too much, so we have to keep him away from keep them away. They're big boys. They like to play, but they're very big. I have a pit bull and a husky German shepherd lab beagle, but they like to play too much, and they're both big boys. They're both like 85 pounds. And the crazy part of it, if GME does cross up on the Patreon, we do give a weekly range for GameStop. So if GME crosses up 15-minute, it will go outside of its range. It was actually outside of its range Tuesday, May 28th. So yesterday it was outside of its range, and that is where you can see selling come in, right? That's what the options market has priced in. So that getting it right again. Right now we're in the 68% zone. But if that crosses up, we could see something crazy happen because we'll be outside of that range. A lot to pay attention to. There's a big move. There you go. XLU not confirming it yet. That's interesting that XLU is not confirming an upward move here. I apologize in advance if the dogs bark. They're going to be like, oh, someone who's not supposed to be here is in the house. So they might bark a little bit, but I'll keep my mic muted if they start to bark. NVIDIA, what are we seeing here? Oh, another trap set in place. Okay, so 15-minute. Cross down. Now, if that crosses back up, everyone trying to short this. This is why I'm not going to short NVIDIA. Everyone asking, like, why don't you play on NVIDIA? No, thank you. No, gracias. Lucy had some halts on it, by the way. I looked up Lucy halts, and it had some halts on it yesterday. 15-minute crossed up. Can it go positive? Now you need to go positive for Lucy. This here, probably a 10-minute divergence, but look at that 5-minute divergence there. Not on the R side at the same time, so this could be ripped away. This could just be a bounce. Right? I think that's how it would head up. Maybe look at 5 minutes sometimes, but 15-minute crossed up, that's a good sign for positivity. You're right by positive territory. We'll see what happens there. Amazon still positive here. You just really want to make sure this 2 hour is able to get to positive territory if you're trading Amazon. You really want to make sure the 30-minute is. Look at that. It's going positive finally, so that's a good sign. You just want to pay attention to how you can get screwed. That's what we go over in the course extensively. AM Dizzle, starting to see that bounce a little bit earlier. Didn't make it all the way down to its weekly expected move. So I just sold out. I think it was like right at 166 level. Meta, turned down, turns back up, 30-minute. Did it cross over on the 2 hour? Nope. So no reason to take downside, right? I need my reasons to take a trade, 3 to 5 reasons to take a trade. I might cross up on the 2 hours soon. Hasn't even crossed up on the 15-minute though. Have the Qs. These look strong. 5-minute divergence there. So this is what you really like. We might leave it on this for a moment. Hold on, the dog's gonna bark for a second. All right, sorry about that. They do their initial barking and usually they chill out a little bit. So 5-minute divergence, this hasn't confirmed yet, so this can come back down, right? Your 1-minute guy might be saying, hey, it's close to the center line. Maybe we create a 1-minute divergence. The SPY goes and tests that weekly expected move, and then we see the move up. But I don't trade 1-minute charts, so take that with a grain of salt. I'm just paying attention. Anytime this 5-minute curls up, we can see the 30-minute actually roll back around. Whoop. You roll back around. So we'll leave it on a 5-minute on the Qs here, and I'll look at other stuff on my other thing. 1922 all over again. I highly encourage you to go look up 1902 and look at the, I don't know what it was. It was like a railroad company in 1902 that the short sellers got caught up in. If you're paying attention to some info for the GME AMC thing going on. But if you're just looking for, you know, the overall market behavior, really we just pay attention to XLU. But oh my gosh, isn't this time supposed to be different, guys? Remember, you start hearing in the media, this time's different. What are they telling their friends? Hey, this time's not different, guys. Like, that's probably what they're telling their friends. Google, let's go take a look at some other things. Remember, 5-minute. That's a good divergence there. But you still need this 15-minute to curl back up. Like, that's what I would say. The 15-minute curls up. We have another positive move coming. So bullish, my friends. Bullish for what? I'm interested. I like it. There's some bullish things happening. Amazon looked pretty good. Google looks pretty good, right? 15-minute, right by the center line in a positive trend. No reason to say that Google has to tear down here yet. It's not even going negative on a 15-minute. So if that could curl up here, that'd be a good sign for positivity. We just want to watch out for any kind of weakness signal up here. Still looks pretty good, though. Google on the 2-hour. If the 2-hour can curl up, you might see a more extended move, right? If the 2-hour curls up, positive territory, we could test the high, go make a new one. We give you the weekly range for this, so you know exactly how high it's priced in to go this week. Silver cooling off. Are you looking at price action versus the other indicators diverging, or is it type of slope of a calculation and price movement? I'm looking at the indicators. So it's the divergence between the price action and the actual indicators. $10 a.m. we go in green. I'm down. I mean, yeah, I kind of just called this out as a trap. Silver, you do have a 2-hour divergence, but that really doesn't look like it's going to confirm right now. Yeah, you might see it just keep moving sideways and then see a pop. Look at the 15-minute. Yeah, see how the 15 minutes drawing down to the center line? If that crosses back up, takes out some resistance right here at 29.34-ish level, that'd be good. Remember, this looks like cup and handle almost, right? You get the cup. It's actually a pretty good level to create the cup right before some big resistances. So good level to create the cup. Then we get some kind of handle. Then we can break through. So crossing up on the 15-minute for silver actually looks okay. Now, I know gold was really suffering here. So we're going to take a peek at that for a moment. What do we notice? 15-minute is still right near positive territory. So if this just turns back around, we'll have to see. Triple divergence on, shoot, I might have missed it. Google. For which time frame? Which time frame for Google? Because Google on the daily side doesn't look the best. Daily side doesn't look the best, right? You have a bunch of, like, yeah, this is pretty upward behavior. You don't necessarily have it at the same time. Is it meant to be more of a short-term play? Yes, it is a short-term play. That's why I get in and out of it very quickly. That's why I like to take a couple positions and then I'll sell like half of them and kind of trade half back and forth while keeping the other two just to make sure if anything really bad happens. So how UVXY works, by the way, in case you were confused, Chad, a little bit, is if UVXY, let's say volatility pops. If volatility pops, UVXY does not immediately go up. Volatility has to pop, causing the SPY to drop. The SPY has to drop. That is how UVXY goes up. If volatility goes up and the SPY doesn't drop, UVXY does not see a big bounce. Thoughts on Starbucks? Look at Starbucks for a minute. We're not doing a 4-hour stream today, guys. I was almost dying yesterday. Let's see here. 30-minute is what I want to look at now. Okay, so 30-minute in negative territory. So you have to be a little bit negative on it, but it is holding up pretty well. So I'd say this. If this crosses up and goes positive, what are you going to do? You're most likely going to test this high, right? You're most likely going to test that high, go make a new one. Now, there is a slight probability here because you're decently deep into negative territory, and that high is pretty far up there on the MACD, so you could see this happen. So you just want to be aware of that. But I think the most likely scenario here is we see this cross up and go positive. Maybe looking at a 2 hour, we could, yeah, see that's down by the center line. So I think if that 30-minute curls up, you maybe test the high, go make a new one for Starbucks. But I'd just be cautious because then you could see some kind of 2 hour divergence and this daily can roll back over. So the daily is in negative territory. You don't have dying out and momentum down here. So this could just be some kind of pop to retest the 50, and then that is given away. Seeing this as a swing trader, this would get close to the center line, turn back down. Okay, more downside is confirmed there. So be positive. You like 5 hour charts? I've never seen a 5 hour chart. Don't do 4. Oh, wait. No. Okay. Don't do 4 hours today. Do 5. Oh, God. No, what I like to do is I might hop off and then hop back. Well, not now, guys. Yeah, I'm still going for another chunk of time here. But I got so tired after yesterday. And then baby girl, she's going through a big learning period right now. I think she's figuring out that she's not part of mom anymore. I think she's figuring out like, oh, I'm my own person. This isn't cool. So SPY, yeah, we're looking at it on a 15, but the 30-minute divergence is what I think could form. Go a little bit lower. But it's just the reason we could see that bounce right now as a trap and why the 10 a.m. thing is whoever said 10 a.m. bounce, so in like an hour or so. This 5-minute divergence kind of looks like a trap to me. I wish I had kids. It's cool. Okay, so here's what you do. You go on Tinder. No. You go on Tinder. And then you take the condom off. No. That's messed up. That's messed up. Video overheated. I think NVIDIA is going to remain overheated until a big drop comes and people, right when they start shorting it, it's going to bounce. I think you got a good chance here for just a 15 minutes to roll up again on NVIDIA and convince people that, hey, there's your little breakdown and now it bounces back up. You're still outside of the weekly expected move. You actually use the weekly expected move right here, guys. You don't think those weekly expected moves are important? There's your weekly expected move right here. And look what we do. We dip down into it, we touch it, and then we bounce off it. So this is where you need to know how to use these weekly expected moves, and this is something that can happen with especially a stock that's manipulated in a short squeeze right now. Okay, we beat down to that. What do? We go retest that area that is that weekly expected move, and then that curls back up. So if the 15-minute curls up here, this most likely is going to be double top or a slightly higher high, and then I'd really pay attention if we start to get closer to that center line. They need more people to give up on shorting NVIDIA. Dawson just goes, dude. What settings are best for the MACD? I've used these settings for years now, so I don't hide anything. 12, 26. Make sure this source is on the close. So you have to do your divergences based on the closing of the bar, not necessarily the wicks or anything like that. And then a 9 smoothing, EMA. And then for these here, this is just a 5, a 20, and a 50. And these would be, I think my 20 is my EMA, and then my SMA on 5, 50, 200, 20. But I switched this to a 9 when volatility goes up. I'm not switching it yet. It has to be above 16 for me to switch it. Oh, W day. I saw you ask that a few times. Work day. Ooh, that's not a good look on the 15-minute. Not a good look on the 30-minute. So no reversal signal here. The direction's chosen. It's down for now. So what you want to see is that get close to center line crossover. Good thing is the 15 minutes getting close to that center line. So you just want to see if the 15-minute is crossing down. That would confirm more downside. If that starts to go positive, that would say more upside. But as of right now, you're moving sideways. Direction was chosen. The most likely scenario for workday here is we build up to the center line and then we cross back down in negative territory, right? We cross back down like this and then we see a divergence. That's more when you want to look for some kind of bounce. As far as being a good trader, this could just bounce right now, but there's nothing telling you it has to. So, patience is a big thing. We have a whole section on patience. And part of the emotion part is like, you want to keep emotions out of it. But also, I believe if you're able to control your emotions, that's good too. Apple is curling up on the 15-minute in positive territory. Awesome. You do have a divergence here, so you have to be careful with Apple. Remember, we pay attention to multiple things. That way we can react. We trade like water on this channel. That's why I don't get tricked as much, right? That's why I don't lose as much when they do trick me, is because I pay attention to right now, 15-minute, I do have a divergence forming. If this were to turn down and cross over, where would it be? Negative territory. So that means bad things, which means we can test this low. We could go make a new one. Okay, so if this starts to do this, and I see that cross down into negative territory on my MACD, that means bad things. Now, there is a flip side. There's always a flip side that you can pay attention to. The 2-hour crosses up. This means we're going higher. This means we're going higher. And I think we'll head towards 193. I think we'll head towards 193 if that's able to cross up. 30-minute was able to cross up. It has a little divergence there as well. So just be cautious here. But this really could just be like some form of a cup and handle to head higher as of right now. 15-minute, you just want to make sure that that's not rolling over. If this rolls over, it's not good for Apple. If it just continues, then that's very good for Apple. You can literally just like type volume. The hell? I don't know this one, but usually it gives you the volume up in this area. I think you can change it so your volume comes up in this area, but I don't use volume very often. I have it on another chart setup, but I check it every once in a while. But I just don't think that volume's the most. I don't think volume helps me with my trading. I can see, a bounce on low volume. What am I going to see on a squeeze with low volume? I'm going to see divergences when they're going to rip it away. So it's just not the most important thing to me. You just type your indicator, type volume. What was the other question? The SPY? You want to go back over to the SPY for a second? Let's see what's happening there. Remember the main signal to pay attention to. If this is really going to be a trap, you're going to see this 30-minute turn right back up, go positive. Qs, this is a better indication of a trap. You notice what we're doing right now. Notice what we did right now in the Qs. This is very good behavior for a trap, actually. Because what do? We break through the daily expected move. We pop back above it, and now we're trying to use it as support to head higher. If we're able to cross up on this MACD, watch out, because that can go positive, and we could start to test this high, go make a new one. Apple's at a resistance level, yes, but you have to just be aware there's cup and handle here. The only thing, so pretty much I'm leaning towards upside, the 2-hour crossing up for Apple right now. So even though I'm talking about bearish things a lot in my videos, but we do talk in those videos, you might see a bearish title, but we do talk in those videos about what's actually happening right now. Usually in those bearish titles, the reason it's bearish is because we don't want to tell you it's bearish while it's like, the second it happens, and then you watch it at night and you're like, oh, well, this guy just told me it happened the day after. I want to tell you in advance what to look for, right? That is actually a good lesson there as far as the education side goes. It's a very good lesson, because if you're waiting for someone at night to tell you about something that happened that day, that's not useful to you at all. You want to more so learn how to think about things a couple days in advance, a couple weeks in advance. We actually even think about things months in advance. What do we know about the SPY on the monthly? We're thinking months in advance. What do we know about the SPY on the monthly? If it confirms this divergence, that is a bad thing, right? That is a very, very bad thing. And we actually did a video talking about why it's really bad when it happened last. So this is really a good thing to think about. You have to think into the future a little bit. Look at the setups that could happen in the future, and if those play out, you just react. You already have your plan. As far as the SPY goes, 30-minute crosses up. That's going to be a decent sign. What is confusing to me is the resistance level at May 28th or May 22nd. Let's see here. Well, 30-minute you're going to have to find. Well, so the resistance would tell you this. Okay, so this is a good part to find resistance. Look at the wicks. Look at the wicks, right? God dang it, I hit home again. Look at the wicks. Now, where did those wicks fall? Right here. So if you're actually above 190, 168, that's a good sign. It's a good sign. But you just always pay attention to how you get screwed. Let's look at the Qs. Are they confirming that 5-minute divergence that looks like a trap? Well, we just busted back up into our 68% zone. We retest it. And now let's see if we can actually cross on this MACD. That would kind of indicate to me that this is some kind of trap. Now we immediately have to watch out. They're trapping us back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So who's to say they don't just do this and then rip it away? We have to be on our toes at all times. AMC going down. Yep. Man, what a significant drop. AMC is just absolutely dead. GME's absolutely dead. Wait a second. GameStop's not dead. GameStop's not dead yet. AMC looks more dead than GameStop, but if GameStop's not dead, then we know AMC's not dead. Maybe they're forcing AMC down a little bit more than GME right now. Why would they do that? GameStop's not dead. It's not even negative yet. And it's only a 15-minute chart. Look at this. AMC's not dead. Hasn't even crossed over on a daily MACD. AMC's not dead. In order to be dead, you got to cross over on this MACD. And in order to be really, really dead, 6 feet under, you got to go negative. Where are we? We're in a positive trend on the daily scale, baby. Nothing to worry about here. Let's look at a 2-hour. Oh, 2 hours not even dead. Wow. If the 2 hours not dead, then this ain't dead. Sure, the 15-minute can be dead, but that happens all the time. We go into negative trend for 2 hours sometimes. You just got to think about it. You got to think. Think a little bit and be like, is this really as dead as they're saying? Let's look at GME. Let's do the same thing. Man, GME's dead, right? Everyone in the media telling you not to buy anything related to GameStop or AMC. Wait a second, that's a positive trend on a daily scale. Positive trend on a daily scale. Wait, this is just a pullback right now? It's not confirmed. It's not confirmed dead. It's not confirming a negative trend. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, now the 2-hour on this, struggling a little bit. This one, AMC actually looks better than GME because the daily and the 2-hour are positive. GameStop looks like it wants to go positive. Looks like it's flagging right now. What could be happening here? Oh, but the 30 minutes telling us it's not even going down yet. So 30-minute gets close to the center line, turns up. That's all I'm looking for. Boys, it's an electrician. I highly doubt he wants to play with you. If he does, you might end up shocked. All right, let's see here. FSM. Let's look at random things here. The silver mines. Ooh, that's going to be 2-hour divergence, maybe. Yeah, so this looks not the best. You see how this is like a signal, like, hey, maybe I would take some off the table because, well, This looks like a setup for a short position. 2-hour divergence down. 2-hour divergence down. Price action up. So that is pretty simple there. Now you can see another bounce here. You do have that divergence on the 30-minute as well. You have little divergences in here. But what are we doing? We're kind of staying in a good area. So maybe this just wants to make some kind of little pop like this. You see a little divergence pop its head like that. That's what I'd be looking at. But if you see a further pullback, maybe then it comes later. So that's what you just got to react. As of right now, this was the position right here. And you're paying attention to how you can get screwed. It's in the course. Literally, if you want to know how to know if this is not going lower and how you can manage your risk in case it doesn't go lower and the signals flip back. Well, one, the 30-minute crosses up. That means that we're probably going to test the high, go make a new one. But our course gets you tighter than that. Our course teaches you exactly what to look for and how to get back into that trade if something happens. Ooh, gold curling over on a 30-minute. That is not a very good sign. Watch out for divergence soon. Not a very good sign. How's silver holding up now? There you go. Wasn't able to cross. There you go. 15-minute curls up. We could see another move. That's a good cup and handle. Good amount of liquidity forming. 2 hours still cross. This is why you got to be careful with silver. This might be a pop and then drop down soon if we make a divergence. So you see how we're thinking in the future. I'm thinking a couple days in advance. If I see a pop in silver and I see that happen, what is going to happen here? Uh-oh, not good things. So even if I'm bullish on silver right now, I'm immediately thinking I might need to be bearish on silver in a couple days. Yeah, we can take a look at Hood. I don't mind taking it. We haven't looked at Hood in a while. It's confirming upside right now. 2 hour, crossing up, positive territory. Now watch out for divergence. Same thing with silver, right? Same thing with silver. Pops up, watch out right away. This looks kind of positive right now. You have a green bar. You have about an hour and 10 minutes. Make sure that actually proves. 30-minute, not overbought. Cup and handle. See if that can head up. Yeah, 15-minute crossed up. Slight divergence here. You weren't able to fully go negative. So you do want to pay attention. If the 15-minute starts to roll over, right, there's a bearish thing and a bullish thing, and then you just want to react. Where is the bearish thing? Well, we got a divergence. We have a triple divergence on a 15-minute, very close to the center line here. Very close to the center line here. So be cautious if this starts to roll over, lose this low, because you might go test this one. But that could also be a fake out. What if you just drop like this and curl right back up? What if we drop like this and curl right back up? You've got to always be on your toes. Trading is a full-time job. AMC is down. Yeah, so what could be happening here as well, they could be filling these levels as well. Not filling, sorry. They could be taking out stop losses. They could send this all the way down to here, and I don't think it's that bad. Two hours not negative. 2 hours a lot stronger than a 30-minute, a 15-minute. So if that's not negative, if I see a turnaround, I'm not. This is not crazy yet. It's barely negative on a 30-minute. GME is not even close to going negative on a 30-minute. Now, if your risk management tells you to get out for a moment, that's fine. If your risk management tells you to get out for a moment, this would be maybe a signal, right? If I was taking a trade based on a higher time frame than a 30-minute, maybe this is a signal to take some off the table just in case something bad happens. And then I want to see, does it just reverse right back around? Okay, then I get back in, right? That's what I would do. Hopefully that was helpful, John. I think Mara is going to start going up, ump. I don't know why I said ump. Yeah, 30-minute crosses up. Mara's got a good shot here. Head and shoulders with this shoulder if we get resistance at that zone again. It's got a good shot. I think the 2 hour is about to curl up. Yeah, so if this 2 hour curls up, that's really confirmed. Be a little careful. You're in a sell-off zone at that point. Watch out for divergences, right? Think in the future. Even if you're taking an upside trade, just make sure all of the things are confirming and then watch out where you can get screwed. That can be a great time to take profit too, right? If you pay attention to the bearish signal. Lukey. Spy back to 529. If you need to ask why AMC is dropping, Ace, I highly suggest you do research on short sellers. But I'll give you a brief one. The stock is manipulated down, just like Nvidia is a manipulated stock up right now. So AMC and GME, they both have short sellers in there who are naked short selling in order to force the stock to go down. And the point of the whole movement is if you just hold the stock, then if the stock doesn't go down, they lose money. So what are they trying to do right now? Well, this sell-off today was probably a bait for people to take calls at the end of the day yesterday, and then they rip all that away from people, and then they use that money to pay even more into shorting GME and AMC. They are going to suppress the stock as much as they can. The more they suppress the stock, the more you know the potential in the stock at this point. The more that they scramble to find money to force the stock down, the more upside I believe that stock has. So the ones that have already popped, those might be the only upside you get in those because they allowed those to pop. They allowed those to pop. They were like, we don't have too big of positions there. The real ones that can do damage to us are AMC and GME, the ones that they are holding down still to this day. As of right now, it's a kind of a toss-up in my opinion. I still believe that AMC is slightly better according to the 2-hour, but that's looking like it may roll negative soon. Remember, 437s are kind of our area we're paying attention to, but I think that just because this is positive, that's a better sign. It's in a positive trend on a 2-hour still. The reason GME is a little worse is because it's still in a negative trend technically. But then you could argue a different thing. You could say the 30-minute is in a positive trend for GME. So you'd say in the shorter term, GME on the 30-minute is better than AMC because that's rolling negative. So GME is actually better as of right now than AMC, but AMC is better on a 2-hour, which just tells me, okay, AMC might be better in the next day or two. The dollar's screaming up. Let's go look at that. Ooh. Oh, you do not want this daily to cross, man. You do not want that daily to cross. I'm telling you right now. Okay, now one thing to pay attention to with the dollar, 2-hour decently close to this. Sorry, I don't know if you guys can hear my dog whining. Alan's a little whiner when he doesn't get his way, and it's so annoying. Yeah, I was seeing if there's any kind of thing here. If this 2-hour crosses down, that would mean the dollar's giving up here, but I think you're just seeing, is the SPY going up right now? Look at the dollar. The dollar is dramatically up. Is the SPY going up right now? Yes, it is. So that's insider selling. Insiders are selling. Just know that right now. Retail is buying the dip. Retail is buying the dip here. They might manipulate it a little bit to cause it to go up, so retail feels good, and then that might be ripped away. That is an insider selling signal. When the dollar is going up at the same time as the SPY, especially when it's dramatic, when the dollar is going up dramatically while the SPY and the Qs are going up, that is a sign. All right, so this signal was able to confirm 5 minutes ago. Now that is saying if this goes positive, we might see a big move. We might even see the 30-minute roll back up. Okay, that's what these signals are saying. So as of right now, if this 30-minute rolls up, right, test the high, go make a new one. Up here, we can create a 2-hour divergence. Anywhere up here, we can create that 2-hour divergence. Actually, you already have it on the Qs. Took 50 points on NASDAQ and I'm out for the day. Hey, congrats, Rupesh. Nice job. Uber. I haven't looked at Uber in a while. Oh, shoot. My bad. Uber, 30-minute divergence looks pretty good. Actually confirmed on this red bar here. They tried to fake you out. Didn't work out. Now it's heading up. 30-minute needs to go positive. You have 1, 2, 3 divergences across the way here on the RSI and MACD at the same time. It looks good. From a contrarian perspective, you have a good probability, and you have a bunch of 2-hour divergences at the same time, which tells me what I need to look at the daily. The daily divergence is there. Daily divergence is there as well. Uber looks like an opportunity. Now, you have to take that in context with what is going on in the market. You have to say bad things can happen in the market, but and the daily is still far away from that center line. Just this is not the best divergence in the world, but you do have a 30-minute, you do have a 2-hour, and you do have a daily. You have daily divergence, you have 30-minute triple divergence, you have 2-hour triple divergence, and so that could lead to some kind of pop. I would say maybe gap fill is possible. I think 70, yeah, I think this gap fill is possible if it sees that bounce, that is. It still needs to go positive. You have to manage the trade. It's just positive right now. You still have an hour left in this 2-hour bar. It's a good sign. It's a good sign. But that has to go positive for it to see a big move. I would say, you know, coming up to this gap fill, once you get there, you're going to be like at a decision point for the stock, right? It's going to be like, hey, I'm up here. But what if I just roll back over? What if it just rolls right back over? Great find, though. Who found that? Who found that? Po folks? I like this find. I'm just going to tell you that right now. 1K profit on Lucy. Well done. Well done, Lucy. Lucy, your money is home. Yeah, good job. Po folk, that's a great find. And then you could, like, because it's on every single chart, you could have got in at 63.50 and you're already printing. So you just want to manage the trade. Good find. Just be careful. There's a lot of manipulation in the market. I don't think it would be on Uber, but we'll have to find out. Unemployment claims could cause market to reverse to equilibrium. Yeah, so unemployment, we talked about how, we actually talked about unemployment before. We talked about unemployment back here, right? We've been talking about unemployment. We pretty much talked about unemployment before the CPI came out because we were like, CPI is not what you want to pay attention to. Unemployment, when this line is marked, when this signal happens, it means unemployment starts to tick up as the market ticks up, and then eventually unemployment's going to take over. Bank failures might cause unemployment, which if unemployment scales up, the stock market goes down. So unemployment is something more to pay attention to than CPI for a crash. And there's that monthly signal at the same time on the SPY. So when you see that, you're like, something really ugly could start to happen here. Go back into our 5-minute. Let's see if that's going positive. Sorry, one more time. Can you look at Peggy? Yeah, we can go look at Peggy real quick. Why do I just not like... Damn it, did I just move that line? I don't think I moved it that bad. It's pretty much right there. Peggy. I don't know why I hear Peggy and I'm like, what company would choose Peggy as their Pineapple Energy? Okay. This might be a 30-minute getting close to the center line. Yeah, 30-minute getting close to the center line. No real steep divergences. You had one on the RSI, not on the MACD at the same time, and it significantly went higher. So I would say this is most likely to be a pullback. So maybe I'd go into a 15-minute, see that by the center line. If that can cross into positive territory, there you go. So if the 15-minute crosses up, what are you going to do? Well, you're probably going to test these closing highs. And then if you pass that, you're probably going to make a new one. So you just have to be aware that by tomorrow, you could see all that happen and have a divergence up here, okay? So this divergence here is what could convince you like, hey, take profit. That's what I do. Good little find though. This is a great just like pullback swing trade. If that crosses up, you can, think about taking that play because it's like, at least I'm talking to myself. I'm like, I would think about taking that play if I was swing trading it, but I'm just looking at other things for today. Was the 15-minute able to cross up? Not yet, but look at that. It's just about to. So aren't I happy I got out of my AMD? What's AMD been doing? Why is no one talking about it? Ooh, starting to bounce a little bit. NVIDIA crossing on the 15-minute right when everyone gives up. It's going to go away. Right when all the retail gives up on shorting it, it's going to be rug pulled. Right when all the retail buys up all this stock, it's going to be rug pulled. Dollar still going higher. Weird. Dollar still going higher. What is the SPY doing? Still going higher. This is insider selling. What are the dailies on the SPY today? 532.06 to the upside, 527.56 to the downside. So you do have potential here for the SPY to run into resistance. Okay, resistance is still right here. When you bust through that zone, you can use it as resistance. Now, the other reason that's not looking too likely is because the Qs are going higher, right? We talked about the trap, the 5-minute divergence on the trap here. Very, very good divergence here, very significant. Now it's a 5-minute chart, so take it with a grain of salt. But if that can go positive, then you might just test this high, make a new one, and maybe we see that 2-hour turn up and we go make that 2-hour divergence. So even though we're at a point where a crash could happen at any time, there's going to be tricks. Did he hit closing line? I'm going to take profit. Thank you. Yeah, good job, short movies. AMC? What's AMC doing? Still breaking down? You guys, it's okay. Like, we know the game here. We know the game here. They are forcing the stock down. We know the game here. You really think retail, all the people screaming, hold, don't sell, hold till 1,000, hold till 100, hold till 40. You think all those people are selling? No, this is probably a stock that is once again being pushed down by big money. And how do I think that is happening? I think it is because why is AMC and GME dropping while everything else is trying to catch a bounce? They ripped money away from people this morning. The dollar is starting to go up at the same time as the SPY. They are insider selling to you guys, to retail traders, to then pay for GME and AMC. All this tells me is that they are very scared for AMC and GME to do this, and they are probably really, really, really going to hurt if AMC and GME go up. So they have to make manipulated moves in the actual market in order to pay for AMC and GME to suppress it. What could I see it going up to? Right now, the first point I'm paying attention to is $40 for AMC. The highest potential I think AMC has to go up. We did the math. The highest potential if they did the maximum amount of damage, the maximum amount of illegal naked shorting would be $1,500 per share. I think it hits 40, sees a big pullback, then it goes up towards, 400 or something like that. But that's if it plays out, guys. It has to play out. So paying attention to the signals will let you know if it's going to play out. But the maximum level I think it can go, we did the math last stream. It's going to be hard to find that section because we streamed for 4 hours, but we did the math according to the last company that had a short squeeze. So it's not the best analysis, right? It's based on a different company back in 1902 with inflation going in and basing it what happened there. A stock back in 1902 went from $40 to $1,000 in 1902 with no inflation in it. So now we calculated in inflation, GME actually has the potential to go to I think it's like $30,000 if that fully played out according to that math. I'm not saying it has to. It's just that would be the math with inflation involved. But I wouldn't take it like that. I think it probably goes up to at the maximum. I really think 400 would be a max there. But just so we do have an idea of how bad it could be for these short sellers, it could be really bad. And what are you noticing right now? Well, it must be really bad for them because they are really pushing this down while everyone thinks the market is doing good. And the meme stocks are dead. You guys are even coming in and saying it. The meme stocks are dead. They're insider selling right now, and we've proved it 5 times on this stream. Yeah. Let me look at American Airlines real quick, and then I will look at Meta. Okay, Landon? Oh, shiznit. That is... Ew. Ow. Ow. I mean, there's no reason to take calls on this. I mean, it crossed here, went closed below the 200, and is negative. Big drop. It makes total sense. Wonder if there's any signals at these highs. Divergence on RSI, not necessarily on MACD. So this is a good point to prove here, too. You don't need it on both at the same time. I just like them at the same time. But if you took that position right here, was telling you, hey, divergence confirmed, downward move on the RSI, crosses the center line. Even if you wait for it to cross the center line, position was taken here. Then this goes negative shortly after. You know you can hold on to it, and that never turned back up. And if you were being risk managed, ooh, there's your divergence actually. One right here, triple divergence across, one divergence here on the MACD. So your actual entry on this was May 14th, 15:15. Whoa, that is bad. Okay, so, but would I be thinking about oh, is this a good level? If you're an investor and you do your research at these prices, you can think about it, right? But we're doing things based on technical analysis and trading. So this would tell me, yeah, this is overdone. Yes, but am I going to play some bounce? No, because this could just go sideways, right? So more so, I would want to say the direction has been chosen. If this gets towards the center line on a 15-minute, curls right back down. Okay, curls right back down. Okay, a new drop can happen. That's the only thing I would take away from American Airlines. I mean, I guess we could go find a support level, and then we got to look at Meta. But yeah, you're running into support. So you can see a bounce here. And then you see some kind of drop again to test the actual support at 1090. So 15-minute bounce. When you do get away from it in the Bollinger Bands here, you want to reconnect with the 5 if you see dramatic selling. Now, that doesn't have to be a big wick up like this. It can just move slowly sideways like this until this 5-day catches up. But it just, that just, I mean, unless you're an investor and you do your research on this, it doesn't look like a good trade setup right now. What else was I looking at? Meta. Meta hasn't crossed over on the daily. That's why I'm worried about that. I think Meta sees a bounce here, but that's as long as this 2-hour can hold positive, right? The 2-hour crossed up. So when the 2-hour crosses up, what do I always say? I said this probably back here. Boom, right here, this crosses up. So what are we going to do? Most likely going to test the high, go make a new one, right? But we have to pay attention to head and shoulders here. So did the 30-minute cross over in this move? Did the 30-minute cross over and then cross back up? Let's see. It crossed over, it hasn't crossed back up, so it's not really confirming it. We could probably go into a 15-minute, that's really close. It's confirming the upside right now for the 15-minute. So now you're probably going to see a 30-minute or 15-minute divergence up here, and then you can zoom out like this, go to a 2-hour, and you'll see a 2-hour triple divergence at the same time. Now, this isn't guaranteed. You still have to pay attention to the signals. If you're taking a trade based on the 15-minute, you need to manage that trade very closely. It's on a 15-minute chart. Very interesting stream, becoming a fan. Could I get your thoughts on SMFL? Yeah, let's take a look at it real quick. Thank you for joining, by the way. Really appreciate you joining, giving us a chance here, Danny. 2-hour divergence was the initial play. Right now, it's overbought. Okay, so your initial play here, Danny, just so you can maybe learn about this a little bit, you had a triple bottom here. And you see the divergence in the near one. So this one right here, you see this price action like this. We see this. That is very significant. This was actually a great trade setup on this bar right here for upside. Sure, they try to rip you around a little bit, but you see that on the R side at the same time. That's why I talked about it. This is a great trade setup. So from here, what do you do if you want to hold on to this? Well, first of all, you got to manage that risk. It's in the course. But on the daily scale, you need that to curl up. That did, and you had a daily divergence behind it as well. So the fact that there could be upside here, there actually could be more upside here. I want to be clear about that. There could be more upside here. And even the weekly looks interesting, I think. No, the weekly looks like garbage. The daily, though, you do have divergence here that did confirm. You want to make sure that can go positive. That's huge. Because if this just rolls over, then that means negative trend continues. But if this can go positive, that means, oh, yeah, we're going up, right? So 2-hour, was that able to go positive? Yes, it was. I think you really want to be a 30-minute. Yeah, 30-minute. Okay, so 30-minute, as of right now, you're creating some point of divergence here, right? On the RSI, not on the MACD at the same time. So what does that tell me? Most likely there is going to be a pullback soon. I will see this dip down like this, see the 30-minute get close to that center line, and then curl back up. If there's another positive move, this is what happens. And you just want to react. But buying at this level, a little bit risky is what I would say. Still can go higher because you have daily momentum behind it. And you're just crossing the center line. I just think a good pullback, maybe down to fill this gap at 336 looks likely. But like I said, if you're investing in stuff like this, it's not really that bad. What, you get a 40-cent drop? That's not that bad. How's the VIX looking? Let's go look at that. I was paying attention to it on my other screen. Pretty sure my stop already went in. Yeah, it took out my stop. Look, let me make sure it took out my stop. XY. Yeah, I took out my stop at 26.88. So, cool. Still made money on it. But as far as volatility goes, what was I paying attention to? A 15-minute divergence, if it would form. That's when I was fully going to be out of this move, and I was watching it, but it just never formed. And then it took out my stop by taking this level out pretty much on UVXY. So what could still happen here if volatility is going to come back in, we get close to the center line, we see that turn up. It's still in positive context. Volatility is still here. Now, does this mean the SPY has to drop dramatically? Technically, no. It's a sign that it could, but this just means volatility is going to be higher, so there could be a big swing. That's what volatility means. So in order for me to take another position on or reapply my 2 positions back into volatility, what would I have to see? I have to see a weakness signal in the SPY. All right, so if this 15-minute curls up, there's no reason. I would say I'd even look at the Qs at this point. See it, make sure this 15-minute crosses, but if this 5-minute just rotates back down, you do have an opportunity maybe for it to use the weekly or the daily move again. But if this can cross down into negative, that'd be bad. As of right now, it's trying to go positive. So you're seeing a little struggle before you go positive. If that can go positive, you're going to turn up this 15-minute. And if this 15-minute can turn up pretty significantly, break above these highs, you're going to see the 2-hour start to, we might even go up towards the weekly expected move upside. So you just want to pay attention to all of these scenarios. I know that's difficult for some people. I know I have ADHD, so I can things pop in my brain all the time, which is very nice as a trader, actually. But if you can learn to pay attention to all these time frames, pay attention to multiple things, then it'll really, really benefit you. What's up, buddy? My doggy wants to be pet. What's up, buddy? What's up, buddy? What you doing? AMC, slight wick up on the 15-minute. GME 15-minute is not even negative, so I'm not even worried about AMC until GME can fully go negative, and I'm still holding it no matter what. So join late today. What up, slot machine? What does it mean when both the SPY and the dollar are rising that there is insider selling? Insider selling. So you guys might be saying stocks are going up, and the insiders are saying this. They're buying our stocks. Now we're gonna pump it a little bit to make them feel good, and then you guys want to short this thing? That's what they're gonna say. But they could manipulate it all the way back up. But what do we notice about HYG? Is that really bouncing back up towards the gap fill? Is this doing what the Qs are doing? This is the smart money. That ain't doing it. What's the Dow doing? That ain't doing it. So this might even be another 5-minute trap today on the Qs. If this just rotates back down on the 5-minute, that is not a good sign. Yeah, I'm J-Dubs. I love that you're here, man. I love that you show up to the stream all the time, but I'm not a walking, if I was telling you what trades to make, I would charge you thousands and thousands of dollars a month. And I'm not doing that. I'm putting everything out for free. So I'm talking about setups. I'm showing you guys how I do things to help you learn. But if you just come in and try to ask me high yield growth, HYG's high yield growth, I'm not going to, if you're someone that's basing your trading based off of what I'm saying, then you're not understanding the point of this channel. The point of this channel is for you to try to understand what I'm saying so that you can learn from it, do it yourself, and then I can be a point of reference for you to get another opinion. What do I mean by divergence? Okay, so divergence, real quick. We explain this in the course a lot more in depth. But this here is downward price action, and a divergence is when the opposite is happening on your indicators. So you notice that the indicators are an angle that is up, while the price action is angled down. That is a sign that we are going to see a bounce. Okay, so we see a bounce. Now there's a lot more to this than just divergence, right? You can't just see a divergence and take it and be done and be like, oh, I just made all this money. I wish it was that way. I'd make a ton of money. Apple's rolling over on the 5-minute. Well, yeah, it's gonna roll over on. Look at this. It's in positive territory, dude. Okay, so even on the 5-minute, we still do this a lot of the time. Okay, even on the 5-minute, we still do this a lot of time. We bust through a zone, we touch back in it. You notice we touch back in it right here. So we bust out of a zone, we touch back in it. Okay, that failed, so we touch deeper in it. Now we get out of that zone again. We're probably going to touch back in it and then see another upward move. My view on AMD is bad, but I think it's going to bounce and make a divergence at the weekly expected move. This is the trade that I sold this morning. I made money off it. Right now it's flagging on a 5-minute, not the best sign. 15-minute was able to go negative here, so point of divergence might be difficult now. So now this leads me towards a lower high because it's a little deeper. It's a little deeper down here. So it could just do this and then stop, right? We could go like this and stop. But if it did curl up on the 15-minute, it's just deeper. So that's why I say that's why I'm not saying test the high or go make a new one. It's just deeper. So if the 30-minute was able to curl up, that's a different story. If this is going to be a strong move and that 30-minute curls up, am I going to take a play there? No, it's pretty tight, so I'm not going to take any upside. But if this could actually rotate up, sorry, excuse me, then you would see a strong move like this, and maybe we create a divergence, that weekly expected move sitting right there. Thanks so much, Danny, for subscribing. I'm glad you found the information helpful. I know you said you just showed up today. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Had to read a text real quick. Holding my put from 173. You did it at 173. Yeah, this is. I took profit, and I didn't even get that good of a level. I got 170, 170. Right at the end of this bar is when I took it, like towards the end of it. So pretty much right there. What indicators do I use? I only use my moving averages, and I use the MACD and RSI. I am the simplest trader you will probably ever see, and I'm a firm believer that this is all you need to be a good trader. I don't think you need all the bells and whistles, and anyone that is selling you an indicator, they're just using the calculations of the MACD and RSI into those indicators and making them look purple and blue and pink. And then they add other stuff into them too, like a buy and sell, but I have buy and sell, but you shouldn't follow those at all. You should really take accountability for your trading and learn those 3 to 5 reasons to take a trade. How difficult was it to learn charts? It took me years and years to learn it this well. So the thing is that's good about probably this channel is I had to figure all this stuff out myself. I'm just telling you guys everything. Literally just telling you. So if anything, you guys should learn faster than I did. You should go through less hiccups than I did, and I highly encourage you to listen when I tell little points like don't trade around earnings, don't take shorts on a stock that just crossed up on its MACD, like on a daily scale. Like those type of hints, those little tips will go a long way, and you're going to be like, every once in a while, you're going to do it, and then the stock's going to go down, and you're going to be like, oh, I should have done it. No, like it's being a good trader. I've learned from those mistakes. Still wondering what this comeback was? It's manipulation. You guys, like, I'm going to say it one last time for the people in the back. And I'm not calling you out, Olem. You might not have been here. The SPY and the Qs, they are going up. Okay? The dollar is going up at this same time. Okay, you're saying this is a significant drop. What I'm talking about here is if we go down into a 30-minute, what are you noticing as the SPY goes up over the last few minutes, the last few 30-minute bars? What are you noticing? They're going up at the same time. The insiders are selling the bags to retailers right now. That is why I keep saying, even if there's an upside move, I am not going to play it. The insiders are selling. So why would someone who's really rich want to sell a stock to someone who is not as rich? Right? Because they know something bad is probably going to happen, and they want to take that money away from you guys. The market makers could be doing this too, by the way. Market makers could be convincing you that stocks are going to go up, and then they just crash right back down. Because that's what they're doing. They've done it so many times now. They've done it so many times in the month of May. Look at all these divergences, right? So this would tell you right here, this is market manipulation, all right? Right here, this is market manipulation, all right? Right here, this is market manipulation. They are stealing money because market makers have positions, by the way, on the short seller side. Olam, I hope that was helpful. Just imagine a roaring kitty tweet right now. I don't think it would go vroom. I think they're really trying to suppress the stocks, by the way. If insiders are selling, would that not make SPY go down? That it would if the retail traders were not addicted to buying right now. Retail traders are addicted to buying, and we know that the stock market's manipulated, so one of the two is happening. If you really think that NVIDIA can go this high without some kind of actual major pullback, it's just fishy, all right? And we know that they're doing the opposite side on AMC and GME. Okay, so they are forcing, the market makers are most likely forcing the stocks to remain higher. Also, just so you know, if you don't know anything about dark pools, the price action that you see right here, let's say on the SPY, the price action that you see right here, this is only 50% of the data. You're only getting 50% of the data because that's overall what it is. Dark pools, they can not show up for a little period of time. Now, the T+1 thing could stop that a little bit from happening. So we could see this actually ripped away very quickly. I think gold is inverse of NASDAQ for the past few days. This has not been the case. Why would that be? Overall with gold, I'm just paying attention to the signals as of right now. And I see that the 30-minute just crossed down. If that creates a divergence, it could go up. So more so, if you're trading something like gold, I would just pay attention to what these signals are telling you. Remember, we told you to take profit up in these levels right here. Sure, it went a little bit higher. Nobody's perfect. Sure, it went a little bit higher, but then it dropped. I want you to notice how yesterday we had a guy coming in and saying, you said NVIDIA was going to pull back. You said NVIDIA is going to pull back, and then it went higher today. And he's like, just keep saying it in my chat. And I'm like, you don't understand what we're saying here. We're saying the risk is bad here. And then what do we get? We get a pullback. And then he probably would short this, and then it would go higher because once they see that yeah, this is the best explanation, okay? This is the best explanation, actually, of the SPY. I'm going to give it to you because I feel like we didn't nail it right there. Okay, so this market here, this entire thing is controlled by an algorithm. This entire thing. Who actually asked the question? Let me see. Who asked the question? Who asked the question? I can't see it. Oh, Darwin. Okay, Darwin. So here's what you need to understand. This whole stock, this whole ETF is controlled, and most stocks are controlled, right, by market makers. What did the market makers at Citadel tell you they did? They hired rocket scientists to build an algorithm to know when to go short and to know when to go long based on retailers. So retail traders, once they say, oh, I'm going to short this, I'm going to short this, it starts to bounce. Once this bounce happened, and at the end of the day, all the retail traders say, I'm going to buy calls, I'm going to buy calls, I'm going to buy calls, they rip it away. Okay? So what we're just know it is 100% manipulated. Yeah, buy low, sell high laws about that, you know? So I just want you to, I know that there's people that come in from all different stages of the game. I need you to understand first off that you are going to play a rigged game, and that's why you need to be dedicated to learning. So we have to do the opposite. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. And we talked about a lot of this, Cliff, in the course in the last video I put out over the weekend. I added to the course. I haven't added to the course in a while. Yeah, there's literally an algorithm that's built to screw you over at every single moment. So that is why, what are they doing now? Why are they screwing you over so much? Well, we know that the market makers, Citadel and other places, they have positions that are short AMC and GME. So they want GME and AMC to go down. So what have you noticed since the GME and AMC thing has happened? We've noticed a ton of funky behavior. A ton. And it's getting worse now. A ton. So what are they doing? They're trying to make as much money off of you so that you're holding the bags in stocks while they can suppress AMC and GME. That's all they're doing. And it's to me, it looks so obvious. To me, it looks so obvious, and I told you it wasn't going to be easy. That's why we put a sale on the course. That's why the course is only $100 for the next couple days, because I was like, I always do a little sale on the course when times are going to be very, very hard to trade. We started that sale about a week ago. Or when I came back to being live, we made that sale. $100. That's all it costs to learn everything that I'm telling you on these streams for yourself. Except you even get more than that, right? We can go more in depth in the course. I gotta drink some coffee here. So yeah, maybe, I mean, and I'm sounding kind of, I feel like I sound kind of rude today, and I'm sorry about that. I'm not trying to be rude or anything like that. I know that new people, that's what I need to understand. New people come in, they haven't heard me say it. And so I need to respect that. And I'm sorry about that. But I'm someone who told you I was moving. And I said, when I come back, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything anymore. I'm going to try to tell it as much how it is as I can, to help you. But if you really want to understand these indicators and understand how to get in and out of trades and understand divergence and get a option strategy that I personally use every single week, honestly, I use parts of it. But when volatility is higher, which I think volatility is going to go higher, you can make a lot of money using that. Okay. So if you do it correctly, it is still on you at the end of the day, right? You're the one making the moves. You have to make sure to manage that risk. And that part is very important. But if you're someone who manages your risk, you're probably going to do better than 60, 50, probably better than just immediately. If you knew nothing about charts, you only knew about a 30-minute chart and you knew how to manage risk, you probably would do better immediately than 50% of other retail traders out there. Immediately. And then the other part gets you another 35%, learning the times to get into the play, learning how to not get screwed and things like that. Triggered laws. Triggered. Yeah, that's why. So if you guys start asking, like, should I buy puts or calls? I might just ignore your comments. That's not what this channel's about. You can ask questions like, is this a good setup for a long, right? Is this a bullish setup? And I will go look at the setup and say, hey, yeah, you're thinking correctly here. I'm seeing these things. You can make money with the VIX lower. Yes, you just want to take very quick percentages because usually when volatility is lower, you see smaller swings. So short, like tinier swings. So that's why I took profit on AMD very quickly. Volatility, I just used my strategy for AMD. All right. I made money this morning. Awesome. How much money did I make? Well, this happened to be a significant drop, but I know volatility is not that high. So I might see a bounce. I might do this. And I know it's not that high. So I think that even if this is a decent drop, I'm not going to wait till that's worth 100 or 150% like I would if volatility was higher. I'm going to take profit at 70%. I believe I made 70% initially on this move. And I sold right here, 166, 166.50. Because I know that anytime they can rig the market if volatility's, especially if volatility's lower. No, it's fine. Oh, you missed it? Yeah, so I'll just do it real quick. So AMD went above its weekly expected move. That's something we pay attention to in the course. That's something we give out on Patreon for $7 a month. It's literally worth probably hundreds of dollars to have that information. And like most traders don't use it, and it's some of the most helpful information because what does it tell you? AMD came above this move right here. Remember yesterday live, I said we had 150 people in here, and I said right here, I said, I bet money that AMD goes to 170, what did I say? 174.50. It went to 174.54. Now, I can make guesses like that above these weekly expected moves because I've seen them for long enough. So what is happening here? Well, right here, you have a 68% chance for a drop because it's early in the week, right? 32% chance to land up here by Friday, 68% chance to land down here. So I'm like, okay, if this crosses on a 30-minute, I'm going to take a play. It crossed on the 30-minute. I started my play. Now, this isn't necessarily exactly how I do my strategy. Usually you wait for a bounce like this to get some divergence, right? But overall, like you literally just want to be like, I'm going to scale into this move. Now, why did I want to get into that move early? 2-hour divergence. 2-hour divergence. Okay, so if you want to learn in depth how to do this, like the course is $100. Like just it's literally, I paid thousands of dollars for courses that were ending up to be worthless. Donald, you are completely right. But I would also say you're at the same time completely wrong. Because I've done the research and I've seen the illegal activity. But you're also right in the fact that you should only be using, I would say, an amount of money that you're willing to lose. And that's what I'm doing. But from a risk to reward perspective, on AMC and GME, let me break this down for you even simpler than doing technical analysis. From a risk to reward perspective, if there is any illegal activity and they get caught, we have the potential for AMC to go to 20, 40, I can keep going, $100. We don't know how high. Depends on how much illegal short selling that they did. Now, so that means if I put $1,000 in right here at 450, the stock's not just going to plummet to zero if I buy those shares. Right? It's not going to plummet to zero. So technically my risk is $1,000 and I could hold this for 3 years. It's not going to plummet to zero. The business is still there. But if something did happen, my reward is what? 500% if it just gets to 20? And my risk is losing $1,000. So my reward would be making $5,000 or getting it up to $5,000 value. My risk would be losing $1,000. And actually your risk isn't even losing $1,000. Your risk is this just goes down a little bit. And you like, I just, from a risk to reward perspective, it makes total sense to me. I wish I started thinking about it sooner. That's what I wish. Someone did come into my channel. They said something back here in April, and I said, what are you talking about? I was like, there's no way they allow that to happen again. And then right after this happened, I did my research, and I was like, holy crap, it can happen again. Doesn't mean it has to, but we can still treat it like trading. Right now, the daily is crossing over. That's not a good sign for AMC. It's not a good sign for AMC. There's a lot of day left, though. And it's still in a positive trend, so maybe I want to look into shorter time frames. What if this 2 hour is able to curl up and go positive? That's when I would, place a buy. That's what I would do. You've studied all of it, yeah. So, and actually, like the amount of info you get on it, the problem could be worse than even we know. So the short selling, the dark pool data that we get, we actually don't know how much naked short selling there is because it's naked. It's nude. We don't know. We have no clue. It could be, I heard, one of them even posted real cocky on Twitter. I saw this tweet. One of the short sellers posted that them and their friends have made $100 billion in the last 3 years doing this. So if there's $100 billion in this or being made out of this, then how much money is actually in it? It's crazy. How low can AMC go? First of all, 437. If you lose that, that's a bad sign. That's a bad sign. But how low can it go? Well, if we just look for history, how low has it ever gone? That's how low it can go. 229 right now is the lowest it's been. That's how low it can go. So technically, that would be 50% loss. So I'm going to risk 3,000 and potentially lose 1,500 because the reward could be 5,000 or 500%. The reward could be 5,000%. Perfectly fine. I am there and willing to take that risk with an amount of money that I am willing to lose. So is it gambling? Kind of. If you're one of the ones not doing your research, then yes. If you're one of the ones buying at $12 and not paying attention to signals, then yes. XLU is not turning around, by the way. This actually, I think this is going to be a rug pull by the end of the day. God, my stuff is loading slow. Is my computer hot? Give me a sec here. Let me fix this. I gotta cool this computer down or something. It's getting hot. I don't have my desk, so using a laptop right now too. Using my old laptop. I'm waiting for my new desk to break out the new one. It's stronger and bigger. I like laptops, sorry. Doesn't take as much room in the room. Good morning, crew. FSLR been on a tear. Hope some of you grabbed calls on it 50% since I mentioned it. No, it's not a stock we cover here. Yeah, it's not really a stock that we look at here. If I looked at FSLR, we actually did look at it this morning. That's the funny thing. This thing is booming up. Like I said, we're still looking at this from a trading perspective. You missed out on the move, unfortunately. The last time you should have been in the move, you curled down on the MACD, you curled up. This was your buy right there at 195. Now we want to see, now if there's no weakness in this and you're going to see a pullback, most likely a pullback is coming on the 2 hour. We curl down to the center line, then that's the moment, just like over here. Just like over here. You see a big run up. Now this is a massive run up, so it could go higher, but actually, yeah, 30 minutes breaking down, so 30-minute crosses up, but you do have 30-minute divergences, so. But the reason I'm a little worried, XLU is not turning around. It needs to make that point of divergence like right freaking now. Lucy did it again. Oh God, Lucy, don't do it again. Are you curling up on a 5-minute? There you go. Okay, 5-minute curls down. So remember, we just said, Lucy, 5-minute charts are great. You just buy when that 5-minute rolls up, sell when it rolls down. Like it's like the most simple strategy you could learn ever. Christian, thanks for joining today. Really appreciate the subscription. So if this 5-minute rolls down, all I would say is, oh, 5-minute rolls down. Does that roll back up? Like this thing is just, you can make like 20% actually, you can make like 50% a day trading this back and forth. That's a good question. I think they're buying. I think they're holding cash. Still going higher. I think they're holding cash. Now we're seeing that drop off. Oh God, this might be the rug pull moment, man. That didn't go positive. Look at that. The 5-minute wasn't able to go positive there. There's your next trap. Now you got to pay attention. Does it lower? Does it high or low? These are just traps left and right. We gotta look at VIX. VIX turned back up. I'm glad I have my runners still in the volatility play. I do have 2 positions here as well. Still, I sold out of some of my UVXY shares in one of my positions, but I still have 2 more. Yeah, we can look at TLT. So TLT is supposed to be like smarter money, but just no one wants our bonds right now. Why would you? Why the hell would you? China just sold a bunch of them. They're moving into gold. They just gave us back a bunch of dollar probably to buy gold. So this is very bad for TLT. Dollar crossing down, negative territory right there. TLT can really start to break down. The last time we were looking at a trade setup for TLT was back here. You see the divergence right here. You can still use TLT. We actually give out the ranges for TLT. You're well outside of the range, so you're seeing something crazy happen. Is there any chance for a bounce? I mean, you're going to find a bounce eventually, most likely, but this is just awful. That means yields have to be going absolutely insane. 4.612 on the 10-year. Let's look at that. Maybe this could give us a hint of what TLT is doing. So you can look at the 10-year yield and do some analysis on it. Yeah, that thing's just, never mind. Like, there is no analysis here. You're praying that this just drops. Yeah, this just crossed up. We told you guys this crossed up live, and we were like, that's not a good thing yesterday. And my God. Now we're going to make a divergence, and this is going to tear down, and the market actually crashes while the yield comes down in history. So here comes the Apple drop. Let's see if we were paying attention to those right things. The 30-minute divergence and the 2-hour crossing up. First off, did the 2-hour cross up? Not yet. It did not. No confirmed upside on the 2-hour chart. Very important to understand that. You're right by negative territory. 30-minute. Hasn't crossed over yet, but we did go create that divergence, that little divergence that I said, it's probably not that possible, but you could make a little divergence here. Do you guys remember me saying that? I was like, I highly doubt Apple makes a tiny divergence here, but it could happen. If that crosses over, that's a bad thing. That's a bad thing. It's going to look clean on the 15-minute. So 15-minute, if that crosses over. Oh, no. It seems overblown. Well, it's not, because why would anyone want to really buy our bonds? Is our return really going to be good? You know what I mean? We already got downgraded. The inflation is not taken care of. It's backed by the government. Okay, the bonds are backed by the government, right? It's safe. Well, if it's backed by the government, how are we going to do when the government has to pay trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars back? Because now, as we experience this and the rate goes higher, the United States debt could stop going up by $100 billion a week or a day or month, whatever it is, in interest. It could start going up by trillions. Just another thing to add, the tick is currently below 0. On what? I don't know why the move is dramatic, by the way. I don't know why the move is dramatic. Well, you do have an opportunity where it's like, it's a weird time, because if there's no, this might mean that this isn't the deflationary crash, but a reaction like we did in 2022 to an inflation scare. That's what that might be. It might just mean we can't have deflation yet because inflation is still so bad. But I do not know. I might do some research on that for you, Tactical Ted, and I'll see what I can figure out. But I know that I still am investing in bonds at low levels. Just because I know, like, if they force the yields down, then bonds might go up. So. God damn, these guys. These freaking, these dogs. Now, just make sure we remember, the 15-minute has to cross here. I am not suggesting anyone front-run anything today. I still think AMD has the potential to reverse back around and go create a divergence. I think it might be manipulated. Why? Because NVIDIA... Ooh, shit. Ooh, okay. So... Oh, wait, this might be a head and shoulders, actually. What am I doing? Head and shoulders, cup and handle. But 5-minute divergence is what I was like, ooh, 15-minute here. You see how we're rejecting right now. If we start to lose this low, that wouldn't be a good sign. Is Uber positive? That looked like a great setup. I am down to go look at Uber. This looked like a great setup. We got to manage the 30-minute first. So 30 minutes about to go positive. So what can happen here is sometimes right before you break through key resistance, you do see some kind of pullback and then cross back up. So if you were managing risk here, all you have to do is go take the course and you'll know exactly what to do based on a 30-minute chart, based on a 2-hour chart, and based on a daily chart, how you can manage your risk after taking one of these divergence plays, right? But you could probably use that way to manage risk in any style of trading, even swing trading, honestly. So what would I want to pay attention to? Well, if this 30-minute crosses back over, well, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to test the low, make a new one. Maybe we get a double bottom. So this is where we manage that risk in this area. It looks really good. Was it able to curl up the 2-hour? Yes. Was it able to curl up the daily? Yes. The only problem here is it's far away from that center line, right? That's very zoomed in. If I go like this, look how far away that is. -2. So I don't know if this is going to see a massive pump. I think it could go towards like $70. A 10% move can happen from these divergences. But we got to manage the trade. This is the point where managing the trade is very, very important. So if this 30-minute crosses over, it's like, hey, if I was taking this trade, this is what I would do. If the 30-minute, we go way more in depth with it on the course, and we go into shorter time frames to show you how to get in and out. But If this would cross down on this MACD, that just says what is stopping the stock from going down even further into negative territory? What's stopping the price action from going down? I don't know. I don't know if this is manipulated. You always have to keep in mind that every stock could be manipulated at this point. So if this would do this and turn right back up, right? So I could say, let me manage my risk, take a few of those positions out. That curls back up. Okay, cool. I'll reapply those positions. But I'm glad I managed my risk and took a little 10 to 20% loss, right? Which then will turn into a gain if that move happens, and you'll see it. XLU, let's see if this bases out and creates the divergence. Still a chance here for that. QQQ could be doing that 5-minute thing I was talking about, where it's going to go test down in these areas, test that daily expected move. So this is actually really important. Let's leave this up here real quick. Uber, I think $70 looks pretty good. If that all fully plays out, I think $70 looks good, but you don't just want to like say, I think it's going to this level, therefore I'm holding till it's at that level. If you're trading it versus investing, that's important too. If you're investing, sure, that's fine. But if you're trading, you need to be like, hey, time is always against me when I'm doing options. So if I'm doing it based on options, then I would say I need to manage the trade every single moment. And so if you want to take that Uber play, you want to make that, that 10% move, well, you think that, hey, that 10% move could happen in a week. So you take a week. But then that move takes a month to play out. And then you're like, oh, crap, a drop happened right before, but I was right. So your timing has to be on. Therefore, you manage the trade and you move that position all the time. You get in and out. You get in and out. And if you want to learn how to manage that position correctly, like pretty spot on, because that's the exact setup that I love to play. I'm just going to tell you right now, Uber's that exact setup that I love to play. It's very fun to manage too. You can literally take the course, go scroll all the way down to how to manage a trade, and then just look at what I do to manage my trades. Once we're actually on the verge of debt becoming unsustainable, just based on the interest payment alone. Actually, we're not on the verge of it. We've been there for a while. Our government's addicted to spending. All right, so this might be the higher low scenario playing out here for the Qs. Just pay attention. But if XLU does not make that 30-minute divergence, I would say by the end of the day, I would be very cautious with all of these upward moves, guys. I think it will, but I'd be cautious with it. GME trying to see a bounce on the 15-minute, by the way. I'm clicking around on my other screen. AMC a little weaker, so I'm going to pay attention to GME. But they're both being suppressed. They both should react accordingly. All right, how much is this one? See if I want to buy AMC soon at this price point. All right. So I have it prepared. If AMC crosses up on a 30-minute or actually a 15-minute, I'm going to buy more AMC. I'm going to reapply my position that I've been trading back and forth. So because GME is in positive territory, if GME crosses on a 15-minute, I am definitely going to buy AMC with my position trade. I'm still holding it, but the position that I'm trading back and forth, that one, I am going to probably place a buy if I see a 15-minute cross on GME. But I'm going to buy AMC because that's just what I chose. I think it's better on the 2-hour, which I really like 2-hour charts. What was I looking up? Gosh, dude. I need to contact Okay, let me see here. Is Clement, are you in here? Clement, are you in the live video right now? I know you tried to take the course and you're running into an issue logging in. I saw it. Thank you for sending me an email showing me some screenshots of that problem. Shorting GME, LOL, shorting GME all the way to the bottom. I just imagine a bunch of nerds sitting around sharing old line memes. Okay. I'm going to tell you right now, if GME crossed on the 15-minute, you're going to be in some pain for a little bit. But if it creates a divergence and it crosses back down, just know that you're trading. That's perfectly fine. Nobody's going to be hating on you for trading, right? What you think to do in this scenario. When did you take that position, Brandon? What time on GME? I want to know. I want to know if that's a smart or dumb play. Because there's a smart way to do it, and there's a not as smart way to do it. I won't short it just because if there's potential for a huge short squeeze, I would highly encourage you not to short. It's kind of like NVIDIA, right? 30 minutes, I look for the same things I look for in other charts, but 30 minutes make triple divergences and quadruple divergences more often. I like to take your course because you've made it such a reasonable price. Can't do it until next month, though. Can I lock in the price? Just let me know live. I think if volatility goes higher when we are in a crash, I'm going to make it available the whole time. If volatility remains above 20, I'm going to make it available as long as volatility is above 20. Because I know that retail struggles even harder in a bear market, or when volatility is above 20, retail struggles really hard because they keep buying dips, trying to buy dips. So I will make it available as long as volatility is high and at key points where I see volatility going up. So Gordon, just know I got your back, and if volatility is high at any point, I will put that sale on there. Clement, are you in here? I'm trying to look at your problem. I tried to do my payment, but it was unsuccessful. That's what I've heard a few times. Let me see what's going on here. No, your payment could not be processed. Please contact Teachable support. I'm going to email you back because I don't think you're here. That is frustrating. I get it. I mean, if this keeps happening with Teachable, I'm about to just get off and make my own website. Like, I've made so many websites. I used to be well, I still am marketing actually for a startup, but I used to build websites and things like that on those like cookie cutter websites. But I used to do that for businesses and manage them and manage their social media as well. How do I evaluate it over time to make sure it's effective? Well, I got to test it a lot in 2022, and then I got to test it during short squeezes during bear markets, and that's where I was able to back test it there. I went back, I think before I actually implemented it and used it with real money, I just went through charts for about, I think I went 2 years back. I think I went all the way to 2018 testing it, and it just had about an 80% success rate. I think it's 80 to 85% success rate when volatility was higher. So when drops were happening. And then the bear market is where I said, oh, volatility is much higher. Let me try this out. And it was successful. But you'll notice that during squeezes, during big price action, when volatility is below 20, it struggles a little bit. You just have to take profit quicker. You can still do it. It's still good. It's just, I know that some people will do it and try to hold for longer periods of time. So I'm giving the course and telling you it when volatility is above 20 to use it. That way you can be able to hold for a little bit more time. But sometimes, usually that move happens and it's quick. So like if you catch it at the perfect time and that move happens, you can make it and then it comes back up and makes a triple divergence and then you can do it again. Like I ran into so many like that yesterday, 24.69. There is no short squeeze coming, maybe trading in this range until next week. When the volume comes back after earnings, GME will be $10 or less. And I'd like to hear your input of why GME would be $10 or less. Actually, better question. Have you looked into the performance of the company? What is it about the performance of the company that convinces you that it is worth $10 or less? Ah, god dang it, my battery's low. Battery's low on my headphones, so now I have to take them off. I like the silence. And that's a perfectly fine assessment there. It's perfectly fine to assess it in both ways. 24.69 yesterday. Let's look at yesterday. What is today? Today is Wednesday. So we're on a 5-minute chart. 24.69. Oh, so you're shorting in the, you're doing it right. You're doing it right if you're trying to short this thing. You short in the pre-market. You see a big bounce, you short in the pre-market. You're being a short seller. You're siding with the short sellers, and that's perfectly fine. You're just trading. I'm not against trading in any way. I just think that it's a scummy thing to do personally. To say I would rather have 20 really rich people who are sitting by their pools right now get richer than try to do something that could help millions of people. That's all I would say, Brandon, but I'm perfectly fine with you doing what you're doing. I mean, you're trading. As long as you know that, that's perfectly fine with me. Are you holding it or are you like selling back and forth, Brandon? Are you like trading it back and forth? Hello, Rick. Staying disciplined, it was very difficult for me yesterday. It was very difficult. Don't think that it's not difficult for me at times, guys. Do you know how difficult this was yesterday to not sell this position that I had? I did not sell on this bar. Do you know how difficult that was? It was crazy. I don't know why you guys, the thing about you guys shorting it though, like I'm someone who's taking the other direction, and you notice I'm not being derogatory towards you. I'm not saying like I hope you lose everything. I don't hope you lose everything. You're probably a person just like me. So it's just weird your guys' attitude. It's weird your guys' attitude, and I would be very careful with that kind of attitude because karma's a bitch. But I would just say if you're trading it and you're shorting it, that's perfectly fine. If you're trading, I'm all for it. I want you to be successful in markets. But to come in and just randomly be a douche all the time, I would overall say I'm worried for anyone who's a friend of yours. That's what I would say. There you go. See, it's perfectly fine. No, not mad. I'm chilling. I'm not even, I made money today. Oh god. No, I took the AMD short, and we were talking about why I didn't get out of that position. I didn't get out of my volatility position, and why I got into AMD to the short side, and I printed. I'm glad you do what the charts say. I respect it. Okay, first of all, I don't lose an O. Rick. It's perfectly fine, but it's one of my pet peeves is when people type loose instead of lose. It makes me think that like you're talking about your butthole. Wait, it's okay for you to short? Yeah, AMD. D as in dog. AMD, I shorted. AMD. 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 I want to turn your headphones up a little bit. All right, but let's go look at these guys. They're so horrible. So let's go look at them. Not that bad. I'm just telling you right now, you're shorting also in still a positive trend on the daily, and that's perfectly fine. Great short position up here. We talked about shorting it up in these levels. Perfectly fine. What? See, this is why I'm worried about your friends, and we're going to ignore you for the rest of the day. All right. If you're making so much money that I guarantee you that once you start to make a lot of money, you probably won't be joining live streams and talking shit for no reason. Like, no one in here cares, dude. I hope you make money. I still think you're a retail trader, so I hope you make money. I do. But you're slowly making me hope you don't because you're a douche. Not because you're shorting anything that I'm longing, because you're a douche. Very big difference. All right, let's see if there's any trade setups happening for us today. Let's see if Apple is going to curl up on this 2-hour MACD over here. 2-hour. Oh, we are starting to see green as of right now. So Apple looks like we might be getting that upward move if we can get some green here. Remember, though, this is only 5 minutes into that 2-hour bar. So if we're going to see Apple pull back, that's fine. We just want to watch this 2-hour bar for the next few minutes, see if that's able to print a little bit of green here, get a green impression on the histogram. Remember, positive trend curls up, positive territory, all right? So positive trend can continue. And we got that weekly range over on Patreon for you as well, up towards 193. Okay, up towards, it's not exactly 193, but if you want the exact levels, you can go down in the description. Now another one. Let's go look at what Tesla did. This one here, remember, we were talking about the head and shoulders that's popping up, but it's kind of wonky. I don't think this is the best setup in the world. I still want to see if the 2-hour can cross up. I think that would be very cool. If the 30-minute crosses up, that would be cool as well. That would be a little bit sooner. We just need that to go positive. Right now it's in a negative trend, so you got to talk negatively a little bit about Tesla. Okay, you got to talk a little bit negative about it right now. Okay. Now, that being said, if this curls up, positive territory is close by. So you just want to make sure that is going positive, and then you can pay attention to what? You can pay attention to the 2-hour. You can flip right back over to the 2-hour and see if that's able to cross into positive territory. NVIDIA, actually, let's look at Amazon first. Great move so far. There you go. Great move. This is the one we were calling out live, saying there's some great divergences here. We kind of mentioned this actually on the Patreon video that we put out with the updates during market hours. We talked about the 30-minute divergence. That was able to go positive. So now what can we look at? A 2-hour and make sure that goes positive next. Manage that trade, guys. Manage the trade. At this point, that is a very strong move. Very great buy right here at 180.89. Looks like that was a great area for this stock to start to go into a positive trend. There we go. So it's starting to head up there. Remember, you're a contrarian first, and then once that goes positive, you can feel a little bit better. But we will see pullbacks. We will see pullbacks. If we go down into a 15-minute, you can see we're getting overbought a little bit. That can remain overbought for some time, but this would be a good area to create some kind of handle, right? We have some resistance at this level, so some kind of handle in here would make sense. Now, we're just paying attention to that, but overall, the reason that this could be very good is if it starts to turn up the daily, you could see a prolonged move. On the 2-hour, though, oh, dang it, I hit print screen again. On the 2-hour, though, still looks like a lower high is more the probable thing here because you're still deep down in this area. So if we're going to see this make some kind of rapid big pop, just look for anything up here when it comes to weakness. Look for that 2-hour rotating back down into negative territory. That could be a bad sign. Now, NVIDIA, we wanted to talk about this. What are we seeing? Well, we're starting to see some chinks in the armor, but if we keep curling up into positive territory, I told you I'm not going to try to short this. This is pretty much like the opposite of AMC and GME. It's very hard to take calls and make money on AMC and GME until something crazy happens. But it's very hard to take shorts on NVIDIA until something crazy happens. So this is one that is manipulated to the upside while the other ones are manipulated to the downside. What are we noticing on the 15-minute? We're starting to build up some divergences here, starting to see it get a little bit tighter. So if we do cross up on this MACD, though, we could make another move higher. Just watch out above you. We always want to be thinking in the future just a little bit. AMD looks like it's just about to be able to cross up on the 15-minute. I'm still kind of leaning towards this, creating some kind of 30-minute divergence. Look at it right at the center line. If this did this, some kind of rapid move, that would be a great setup. And I told you guys this is the one that I'm going to be trading and telling you guys about live if it forms anything, because this is one that I think people can learn from how to actually, take positions and things like that. So Meta going forward, if I can click on it, there we go, 30 minutes still down, wasn't able to confirm the upside. Notice no green bar here confirming upside for Meta. So as of right now, you would say if the direction is going to be down, if this is going to go negative, okay, first, is it going to just curl down and curl back up? Is it going to curl back up? Pay attention to that for upside. And then for the downside, we want to make sure this 2-hour is not crossing over. If that 2-hour crosses over, you're really close to the center line. You can go into a negative trend. Bad things happen in a negative trend. You want to see the last time Meta was in a negative trend? You want to see this? Negative trend started right about here. Oh my goodness, that is bad. So I don't want to be caught up in any of this. So if I'm trying to go long here, I want to pay attention to this 2-hour, make sure I'm not going to get screwed. Microsoft we haven't looked at today. This has been beaten down on the 2-hour. Still waiting for that confirmed move up. Let's check out the 30-minute. That is positive. Positive, but still close to the center line. So you got to say little edge to the bullish side on the 30-minute here. You're going sideways, very good sign. So if the 2-hour can cross up, you're going to see positivity. But if the 30-minute crosses down, you just want to make sure that that's really breaking through these lows, kind of confirming that negative trend because it's right below you. So there's a way up, there's a way down for Microsoft. And if Microsoft crosses up on this MACD right here, it's not going to be a great sign in the future, but it will be a good sign for right now. So it is something to pay attention to. Looks like it could get bullish again, right? Positive trend, positive territory. So it could get bullish again if that 2-hour is able to cross up. Might be a little short-lived. We'll have to find out. Google, I know someone was asking about Google. Same thing. Look at the same thing we're paying attention to here. What do we get? Well, we get no divergence here, but you do have divergence between these points here and these points here. Not necessarily right here on the art side, but you do across the way. So if we're going to get another more clear divergence for Google, we could see this cross up, positive territory right on the 2-hour. That means positive trend continues. As of right now, you actually are still looking a little bit like a flag. So we want to look at a 30-minute. Yeah, so 30-minute is curling down as of right now. So that just says, hey, maybe I need to be a little bit careful here. Maybe that 2-hour is not going to turn up. And if that goes negative and we take out this low, we might be starting that negative trend, okay? So time to be a little bit cautious for Google, just watching that 30-minute, and the 2-hour has not confirmed that upward move. Netflix, another point here. My goodness, this thing just rips higher and higher, doesn't it? This thing just rips higher and higher. So what I want to see is a 2-hour. Maybe this is creating the 2-hour divergence. So Netflix is creating the 2-hour divergence as of now. Maybe I'd look into a 30-minute, think about scaling in or something like that if this just crosses over because it's decently close to the center line. But 2-hour divergence confirms. That is a triple divergence. It's getting you closer to that center line going into a negative trend. As of right now, you would say everything's still bullish context. So even the daily scale here, a little bit higher up into positive territory than you would like to see this fully go negative and like take out 543. So maybe we are going to get some kind of pullback that leads to some kind of daily divergence right here. I'm always thinking about what could happen in the future. As of right now, 2-hour divergence, if that confirms, that is not going to be a good sign for the momentum of Netflix. What else have we been looking at today? Let's give Bitcoin a look. We haven't looked at Bitcoin at all. First of all, daily scale. Ooh, daily looks like it wants to cross over, but it hasn't yet. Key thing, it hasn't yet. So you guys know I like 4 hours for Bitcoin. No real divergences at the same time on the MACD and RSI. If we go a little lower, we're not going to create one on the RSI either. But look for the 4 hour to cross back up. That would still be close to that center line. But as this daily starts to roll over, you're getting a little bit deeper down here. Not really the best double top scenario. Yeah, not really a double top or anything like that. This still could be a handle, so pay attention to that 4 hour. But if we start to cross over, maybe we need to dig down a little bit deeper, right? Dig down just a little bit deeper, and then we see that turn back around. We'll pay attention to this, but if this starts to go negative, it's not looking like the best sign in the world, right? Now let's go look over at X. Actually, let's look at the dollar. That thing just screaming higher. This is the insider selling. And if that curls up on the daily scale, it's right by positive territory. So it is a time to be cautious. Volatility already has curled up. Now it's a little further away from positive territory. Keep that in mind. So this bounce will make sense as you dig into a 15-minute chart for volatility. Not able to turn up a second time, creating a bunch of divergence on the RSI here. So RSI pointing just down here while this is flat. This is kind of flaggy though, isn't it? So if this crosses up at any time, we can see another pop in volatility, and that won't be a great sign. Okay, that won't be a great sign. So right now it looks like a lot of charts there's a way up, a way down. Usually we're able to lean in one direction. As of right now, we've seen a bunch of traps. So any move, I want to be paying attention to what could happen next. Okay, so even if volatility scales up, we see a drop. Well, what if that creates a divergence, that drops off? And then what if the SPY goes all the way down to this area down here and creates that 30-minute divergence at the same time? Okay, 30-minute divergence at the same time for some kind of double bottom, and then that is where this thing starts to really scale up. XLU, is that seeing a bounce yet? No, it's not. I think if you really want to see a solid bounce from the market, like going up to a new all-time high, you're going to need XLU to confirm this divergence soon. It's starting to dip way down and get oversold. So we could see some kind of bounce, but we want to see if that's able to confirm and flip back to positive. That would be a good sign that this isn't the moment of the actual crash. And then that might form that crash signal soon though, right? Technically the crash signal is the daily divergence on XLU. And what have we created now? Well, we've gotten a little dip here. If we're going to see positivity soon, what if we create that double top, that divergence up at this level very soon? That's what I'll be paying attention to and notifying you guys about. The Dow crossing down. Oof, that is a divergence, but it is very, very low. Very low, very flat divergence for the Dow. So the likelihood this is just going to produce some kind of little bounce makes some sense, going up into gap support right here. So we could see some kind of bounce, but watch out if that starts to bounce and then just fade pretty quick. Not the best look. That can lead to a bounce on the 2 hour, by the way. So if the 2 hour is going to see an extended move, watch for that to curl back down at any moment. A lower high does make more sense here. Even something just like that, some kind of lower high makes sense. Qs, you were trying to test the daily expected move again. Great behavior from the Qs, breaks down, comes back up, tests it, goes up again. Now it's going down for maybe another test, and then we'll see if this is able to actually go positive. Notice it's really struggling to go positive here. That's a big deal. You have to go positive to see that big, big move. All right, sorry, I was just trying to give a good breakdown there in case I need to hop off. I wanted to give a good breakdown there so some people who don't watch live can come see it. Is it overbuilding a bullish flag? It could be. Let me go look at that in a moment. I have 2 call options on UiPath. And short-term selling tomorrow, 1 long-term. Well, you seem like you're paying attention to those signals. I like anime. So as long as you're paying attention to anything I would say, I have some confidence in you. I have some confidence in you. And NVIDIA is a monster, by the way. WF, it is a monster. It is the one that is the opposite of AMC and GME. It's manipulated in the other direction. And I still believe that retail is going to end up holding that bag. EOD push on GME or AMC. Yeah, I do have EME, or I do have GME up on my other screen. You'll notice that 5-minute is still negative. That's a bad sign right there. But the 15-minute is in an area where if it did bounce, that would get into positive territory quick. Now, as this leaks further and further negative, you know, we do have gap support and things like that, but it is leaking negative. So you do have to talk negatively about it. So the 30-minute here is still in positive territory. So that's why I'm really thinking if the 30-minute is going to remain positive, it's probably going to need to see a bounce in the next hour or two. Yeah, we can. Exxon here, 30-minute divergence probably forming. Yeah, so 30-minute double bottom looks like it's forming. You got a divergence here for this little bounce. Thank you, Vicky, for joining the channel. Thank you for subscribing. Appreciate it. The 30-minute divergence here, if this can prove, that would be a good opportunity. That's what I try to talk about. I talk about the future just a little bit. So note that this is down in negative territory. That is a bad sign. It can continue to go down. But you want to pay attention to if at any time you see a bounce that confirms this divergence here that tells you momentum is dying out. That would be a good sign that we could go positive. And if you do go positive, you can test this high. You can go make a new one, right? And then we can start a positive trend. So good level to pay attention to for Exxon. Very good level. Thank you for having me check that slot machine. Let me go look at AMC for you real quick. AMC, now this is breaking through this flag. I mean, technically this is a flag, but the line in the sand is really 437. 437, we marked that support off a long time ago, right? We marked that off when we saw this big move up, and we said 437 is probably your line in the sand for support until you see a drop down to something around here, 343. So that's why you really want to mark that off. That's an important level. We just want to pay attention if this is curling up at any time. The reason this is a little bit bearish, 30-minute is negative and the 15-minute is negative. Now this one's still a little different. I love my 2-hour charts. So the 2-hour is trying to go negative right now. It is trying to go negative right now. That is not the best sign, okay? That is not a good sign. We talked about divergence up in these levels for AMC. We weren't necessarily saying it was like the best looking setup. We're just trying to say, hey, if that move is going to come soon, then we need to remain positive. We're not able to remain positive. Well, then the direction is down for now. But we want to pay attention because things can happen very quickly. As of right now, AMC dropping down, no 5-minute real divergence. You do have it on the RSI, but not the MACD at the same time. So any sideways movement is possible. Any small bounce is possible. But would I say it's bullish yet? If the 15-minute gets back into positive territory, I'm immediately switching. Oh, I'm down to look at McDonald's. Yeah, I heard about BNED too. We'll look at that too. McDonald's. Oh, shit. God dang it. That's McDonald's futures. Okay, 15-minute divergence. Is that on the 30-minute? There's your 30-minute divergence on the RSI. We have slightly up on the MACD. So potential for a bounce here. Just the only problem with this divergence right now, you're still very far away from positive territory. Still very far away from the center line, okay? So it's a lot of work to get up there. Sure, you can see some kind of bounce, but maybe that has to create a double bottom to get closer to that center line, right? Something like that would be more what I would look for. But it's a good spot. Like, it's a good little spot for possibly a trend. I'm just saying it can turn up the 2-hour, but a lot of the time when you see that kind of signal and you're this deep on the 2-hour, you see this pull up to the center line, right? Exactly what we do when we see a big drop. We see a big drop, we see the 2-hour curl up to the center line and then cross back down. So this could go like this and then just roll back over and then create a 2-hour divergence and 30-minute at the same time. That would be better. Uber looks like a great setup. It really does. Oh yeah, you did ask about Uber. And then I'm going to look at Barnes & Noble. Sorry. My bizzle for shizzle dizzle. Yeah, so what I would really pay attention to here is managing the trade like we do in the course. The triple divergence is a great trade setup, 2-hour divergence, daily divergence, like it's a great setup. But once you hit these key points, nothing goes straight up in one line unless your NVIDIA every 6 months or so. It just goes up in a straight line. But we know that that's like the big boys are playing that to the upside. So they're going to want that thing to go up, and they have a bunch of money. So Uber probably needs some people to get convinced, meaning it might need to go grab some more buyers before heading higher. So maybe is a 15-minute able to curl over? If the 15-minute curls over here, it's kind of flagging at this moment. If that continues and is pretty controlled and then just curls back up, that would be a good point for another move higher for Uber in the shorter term. And then I would just say that this move on the 2 hour, it's already confirmed. If that can go positive, that'd be good. Brian Carpenter, thank you so much for subscribing. Really appreciate it. And I need to check on, let's look at Barnes and Noble. I'm down. Ooh, 2 hour going to curl up positive territory. That looks pretty good. 30-minute going positive as of right now. 15-minute curling up positive territory. You would say upward move is possible. Watch out for divergences and things like that. It can be ripped away. But that's a good look. You got the 2 hour to start to curl up. This is your real confirmation. So this would be like, I would look at the shorter time frames to get in early. And then if that 2 hour does curl up, I'm pretty confident in this move, testing the closing here, right here, or going to make a new high. So Barnes & Noble could see a good move as long as that curls up. I bet the hourly is actually good to look at here. Yeah, hourly is good to look at. Curling up, positive territory. Swing trader would love this. A swing trader would love this play. But if this is manipulated in any way, you got to manage that trade, okay? You got to manage that trade. Very important. If you're paying attention to any manipulated stock, you have to manage that trade. And we did give a breakdown just for people that are watching this live. If you're tuning into this portion or not watching this live and you're tuning into this portion to find that 15 minutes, it was just a little bit ago. We did a breakdown a second ago. Tesla 4 hour, slightly bullish. We can look at FFIE. It didn't look good the last time we looked at it, but I can look at it. A lot can change, you know, Steve. Look at Tesla again, just because Tesla is so wonky, man. You said 4 hour. 4 hour turned down. Slightly bullish divergence. I would not pay attention to divergences that are in pause. Don't try to convince yourself, okay? Don't try to convince yourself in here that this is all this is just like flatness. Because if I'm going to see if this is divergence on a 4 hour, then I'm going to see it on a 30-minute, on a 2 hour. Like that's like 95% of the time you are going to see the divergence on a 30-minute or a 2 hour. Now you could consider this as divergence, consider this a double bottom. If this crosses up and goes positive, that has a good chance. So at this moment you would be negative, right? Because right now we're like, hey, Tesla does not look good. It is in a 30-minute negative trend. But if that crosses up, I can say that is a contrarian bullish signal. And then if that can go positive, it can go well. So if I want to be bullish on this, well, then I would say, okay, as long as this crosses up, I can be a little bit contrarian bullish. And then if that goes positive, then it's bullish again. And then I want to see, is the 2 hour curling up? And then that would be bullish again, right? So that's how more I would look at it. And then you can go all the way up to a 4 hour. And if that crosses up, good things, right? Good things there. But as of right now, you're still close to that center line. Don't try to convince yourself of any divergences up here. You're going to want to see those divergences down here on the shorter time frames. And if you see them on the shorter time frames, or if you see them on a higher time frame, they're usually going to prove themselves on shorter ones. I'm just going to bring up Uber again to show you. Okay, so the fact that I see a daily divergence, right away, if I see a daily divergence like this, I can say, oh, this most likely will prove that there's a 2 hour divergence then. Okay, so the 2 hour, what do we see? We see divergence then. So that's why it's very obvious, right? So once it's not so obvious, it's harder. And then on the 2 hour, I'm like, wow, that's a bunch of divergences. So there's probably a 30-minute divergence. Okay, there is a 30-minute divergence. There's actually triple divergence on the 30-minute. And then boom, now this is fully proven at that point. This is why I love these setups. I love the Uber setup. You just got to manage that trade right now as you run into a little bit of resistance. SPY, and it looks like the Qs, did they react off of the daily expected move? They are trying to, so they're building liquidity. You're not getting all the way down there, but good sign to be crossing up. It's still, the 5 minute needs to go positive. Look at this. It hasn't really gone positive. So even on a 5 minute, needs to go positive. Let's go look at, do I trade the Qs? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. If you want to say, do I trade the Qs? I trade the stocks that are in the Qs. Those are the most of the stocks that I am trading. Most of the stocks I trade. Apple's probably one of the ones I trade the most. Apple's one of the ones I trade the most for sure. And then I'll take meta plays. Like pretty much all the stocks that I cover are stocks that I take plays on. So that would be SPY and the Qs, not so much, every once in a while. But SPY, Qs, Apple, Tesla, Amazon, Nvidia, AMD, Meta, Microsoft, and Google. Steve, FFIE, let's see. Well, and like I said, that's why everything that is potentially, even Barnes & Noble, even that has to be taken with a grain of salt because it's a manipulated stock. Divergence on FFIE isn't playing out. This wasn't divergence. I don't see divergence on FFIE on a 30-minute. Is it on a, I don't know what you're seeing, 2-hour, maybe? No, nothing on the 2-hour. No, there's nothing here that is bullish at this moment. Is it metal or meta? I said meta if you're thinking about that. Is metal good to short? I love me some metal music. Oh yeah, SMCI. We can look at that. We haven't looked at that in a minute. Almost. You're so close to making a 30-minute divergence. We can look at meta in a second. You're so close. It looks like a little bit upward, but you need to confirm that soon. And then you don't have it on the RSI at the same time. So if there is a bounce here, I'd probably target gap fill. Gap fill would be a little bit likely, but if you rotate up the 2-hour, that could mean more bullishness, right? We break through an important zone, we touch in it a few times, but not the best divergences here. See how none of these charts are proving the divergence on the RSI? That's where you don't want to convince yourself too much. But you do have it on one indicator, kind of flat though, so I assume this will be a lackluster bounce. It might not even make it past 850, 850. Not looking the best. Yeah, and your daily, if this sees any more weakness, it's not looking pretty, right? See how close the daily is to going negative? So just manage it, right? We could see a small bounce, react up to the 5 again, and then see that cross down on this daily, and I wouldn't fight against daily momentum. You could come down and test the lows of these, this closing bar right here, 714.50. Silver's metal. We can look at metal. We can look at silver and stuff, but I don't know why I typed meta. It's literally on my sideline here. Let's see what's happening with this. Remember, 2-hour crosses up, stays positive. That's a good thing. The 2-hour hasn't crossed over, so we're not really bearish on this at all. Not even as a contrarian, right? This is a positive trend, so it's an edge to the bulls here. And it hasn't crossed over, so nothing really bearish happening there. Is something bullish happening here? Well, it's in a positive trend. That's a good thing, but it just hasn't even made that second move higher. That 30-minute move is the 15. 15 is close to the center line, so that would tell me, hey, if this crosses up, it has potential to make a move. You do kind of have like a weird divergence right here. So it just doesn't look that strong. I would wait for confirmations. How high up is the weekly expected move for Met? It's got a pretty solid move in it if it can confirm it. So if this 30-minute turns up, it has a solid move that could happen. You could get a full retest up in these areas. You could probably go all the way up towards 490. Then you just want to be on your toes. Remember, if that move's going to come and the 2-hour does not cross over right now, you just want to pay attention because you could make a divergence on the 2-hour up towards those levels. Yeah, you could make a triple divergence at those levels if it happens quickly. What was it? Look at hood. Yeah, I was gonna look at hood too. Ooh, yeah, 5-minute rolls over. Let's see on the 5-minute. Let's do 30-minute. 30-minute has to go negative. You might have a 15-minute little divergence here. You do. This is the triple divergence we were talking about a little bit ago. You need that to really confirm by going negative. I would say taking out this wick here and closing below 20 would be a good sign. But this is a triple divergence, so you do have potential to go negative, which means we have the potential to probably roll around an hourly at this point, but 30-minute already rolled over. No real big divergences across the way here. But is the 2-hour by the center line? No. Doesn't look strong. It looks like a rejection as of right now. So 15-minute looks good. That move right there would be taking a chance on it, and then you got to manage that trade. On a 15-minute, you got to manage that trade on a shorter time frame, like a 5. So is the 5 going to turn up? It just rejected. So as long as this 5 doesn't turn up, probably okay. Yeah, on Tesla. Tesla didn't have a 4-hour divergence. Because if it did, we would see it on a 2-hour. We would see it on a 30-minute. We would see it somewhere. We don't see it anywhere. But it's just a matter of, does it curl up the 30-minute and does it curl up the 2-hour? That's kind of what I would say about Tesla. It's pretty simple with that. It's just, I told you this on Patreon too. I was like, this does not look like the best one to trade. It looks more complicated, but you are getting the 30-minute to turn up. Look at that. So if the 30-minute turns up, if this can go positive, then you just want to make sure this 2 hours is turning up, and you're pretty good, right? Then you would say it's kind of confirming an upward move. All right, guys, I'm going to just take one last look at the meme stocks, and then I have to hop off. I really do at this point. So just to take a look at these meme stocks, just pay attention. I mean, AMC is negative. Okay, AMC and GME on the 15-minute are negative as of right now. They're still in a positive daily trend, and we're heading back down towards our line in the sand, that 437 level. So this has to get positive for us to be bullish in the short term on it again. GME a little bit closer to the center line. So if this gets a bounce soon with this gap support, that would be a good sign for upside. That would be a good sign for upside. But as that drops out, that's why we manage our risk. Right here is when I got out of one position, the position that I'm trading back and forth. I got out of that position right here at 502, and look at that, they're pushing this thing down. So if that can turn up at any time, that'd be a good sign. And then you just want to see if that 30-minute can turn up. Same with GME. 30-minute turns up, it's still in positive territory. So I wouldn't be too worried about this push down in GME. AMC, you maybe be a little bit more worried on the 30-minute, but right now you're still in a positive trend. If that starts to go negative, though, we'll talk about it. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I have to hop off for the day. I will be putting out a YouTube video later today, and if any trade setups get out there, I'll be putting them on Patreon. So thank you guys so much for watching today. Thank you for liking, subscribing. Real quick, let me go check on AMD, see if it is getting that bounce, actually. Yeah, it's bouncing. I think that 30-minute can curl up, but just because I think it can doesn't mean it has to. So what I want to see here is if the 15-minute can go positive, then it's a good shot that we're going to test this high, maybe go make a new one. I can be open to a lower high around this gap, but, and I marked that off wrong, this gap, the top side of it. But as of right now, it looks like the direction is down. We're in a negative trend. So until that changes, I won't be short-term bullish on AMD. And I think if it does turn into a bullish trend, right, this 15-minute goes positive, I'm really watching out for a double top, some kind of divergence at this level for AMD. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope that you guys have a great day trading out there. Remember to trade back and forth. Even with the meme stocks, you can trade it back and forth, right? So I'm doing that with some positions, but some I'm letting ride, and I'm willing to lose all of that money. I do not care. Use an amount of money that you don't really care about. That's what I always say when if you're planning on holding those stocks, right? Thank you guys so much for watching. I wish you guys nothing but luck with the rest of your trading. All of you guys out there, if you're a retail trader, I wish you nothing but luck. Make sure to be nice to the other streamers, right? Don't go into their stream. If you disagree with them, you can disagree with them kindly. You can be like, I disagree because, and then they can think about it. But no reason to get mean out there. No reason. It's just wasted energy, and you're fighting against people who are just like you. you know, put that energy towards someone who's actually doing something bad. Put that energy into your trades. Make sure to manage those trades. Remember, that course is only $100 for the next 2 days. If volatility stays higher, we might extend that. But if volatility starts to drop off, we might have to put that out again, that sale, later on. So thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. Peace out.